026. The video shows pieces of dark brown rocks gathered together. They are inorganic creatures from the edge of the world, and at this moment, they seem to be gathered together, as if they are carrying out some project. Soon, a scene that shocked the audience occurred. Countless dark brown stones overlapped each other, as if a body was made up of stones. Next, there are limbs as strong as rocks, made up of pieces of stone creatures. This human-like form might have been very convenient for them, and they quickly began to experience this novel feeling. Their legs are used to move more conveniently, and their arms are used to carry objects. The body is the central trunk that controls the limbs, and the chest is their eyes. This scene was like blending together. Inorganic creatures have interconnected thoughts, and when they merge themselves, they become a whole. Their thoughts are interconnected and related to each other. Seeing this moment, many viewers in the world were stunned. They could never imagine that such a group of creatures could actually fuse themselves together to become a complete living being. Some people are completely speechless. Only the racial characteristics of this group of marginal inorganic creatures can allow them to possess such talents. Of course, the results of this integration are enormous. A stone has only one thought of its own, but when countless stones are merged together, they gain multiple wisdoms. Relying on such wisdom, the stone man who was the first to complete the fusion was honored as the wise man by his race. The wise man's stone arm pointed at the broken star ring and at the thousands of planets with huge areas. Their target is the entire fringe world. Inorganic creatures began their own technological research. They began to rely on the unique characteristics of their race and made attempts again and again. The stone creatures have hard bodies and powerful strength. They are not afraid of fire or severe cold and can completely overcome any harsh environment. Even, they themselves can become part of technology. The bodies of liquid organisms are extremely adaptable. No matter how sophisticated the parts are, they can penetrate into them. With such racial adaptability, the entire civilization began a technological evolution that lasted for thousands of years. Time flies and the scene changes again. Over thousands of years, after tens of millions of tests and attempts, and with the experience and efforts of countless predecessors, marginal civilization has finally taken shape. They had their first space battleship, which was composed entirely of inorganic creatures and could accommodate all of them. That's right, this entire space battleship is made up of the bodies of inorganic creatures. It is technology, but also life. At this moment, all the heavens and the world are speechless. Is this the wisdom of this race? Over thousands of years, from scratch, they built their own space battleship. Tony Stark. My God, this spaceship is so cool. No. It is built by relying on the race of creatures. This kind of technology is really shocking. Megatron, the technology that I have accomplished. This really gives me a whole new way of thinking. Mechanical pioneer, after this technological success, what kind of magical weapons can they create? Haha, what a magical creature, it can accomplish such a feat just by relying on itself. Well, it's already close to my son Wang Teng. My son Wang Teng has the potential to become an emperor. FKU, everyone is watching us, can you please stop bragging about your lousy son? Hong Wang Depeng. In the barrage, many people have different opinions. Some people are shocked by the technological explosion of marginal civilizations, while others express admiration for it. Of course, some people also express disdain for it. In the eyes of these people, this group of inorganic creatures is nothing more than a racial peculiarity. Their natural bodies make them not afraid of death and even long-lived. Other than that, they are nothing. Just as the audience is preparing to see what kind of technological evolution the marginal civilization will make next. Suddenly, the entire video scene changed again. The experience that the video brings to everyone in the universe is immersive. So, as the scene changed, their consciousness seemed to have arrived in the depths of the universe. The universe here is a state of infinite superposition. The mass here is completely different from the universe known by some scientists. In other words, even if Thanos came here in physical form, he would probably be crushed by the mass of the universe until nothing was left. Many scientists have discovered this situation, and they have become even more awed by these civilizations that made it into the top 10 list. However, what makes more people curious is why the perspective of the video suddenly changed at this time. Then, the video gave them the answer. In the depths of the universe, a fleet appeared. The huge battleship and the huge turret shone with dazzling light. Each warship is as big as a star. The warships were lined up in neat formation, emitting a sense of deterrence in all directions. The audience is very familiar with this scene. This is the object of our last inventory, the Singer civilization. At this moment, the Singer's powerful civilizational power appeared before them, as if they were really there. The sight of such a huge fleet was shocking and terrifying. At this time, the voice of the omniscient narrator also sounded. While marginal civilizations are still enjoying the fruits of their own scientific and technological development, the expansion of the Singer civilization began at this time. Then, they saw the warship fire a shell, which instantly penetrated like a beam of light, covering dozens of surrounding star regions. The laser exploded in the space turbulence, generating a strong shock wave, making the space turbulence extremely violent. After just a few passes, a galaxy was completely blown up. This scene shocked countless people. What a powerful civilization, what a terrible power. Even without weapons like bidirectional foil, the technological level of this cannon is enough to make countless people tremble. The audience watched with interest the development of the Singer's civilization. Finally, the Singer civilization and the marginal world civilization collided with each other. In the picture, there are countless warships of the Singer civilization. A confrontation occurred with inorganic creatures from marginal civilizations. When the Singer civilization occupies 3 galaxies and continues to expand outward, they encountered resistance from the marginal world. 027. 27 At this time, the Edge world had just completed technological advancement and was not yet ready to expand. And the blow to the Singer civilization has already followed. The expansion and invasion of the Singer civilization is unacceptable to the marginal world. They decided to protect their own race and resist the expansion of the Singer civilization. As this omniscient and omnipotent voice sounded, almost everyone in the universe turned their attention to the 2 civilizations with expectation. One is the 9th-ranked Singer civilization, which was honored to be on the list with its powerful dimensionality reduction weapon, 2-dimensional foil, and the technological strength of a high-dimensional civilization. One is the 8th-ranked marginal world civilization, which successfully surpassed the Singer civilization with its own excellent adaptability and technology that surpasses high-dimensional capabilities and causes dimensionality reduction attacks. These 2 civilizations are actually going to collide? Before this, almost no one could have imagined it. However, from the audience's perspective, the marginal civilization at this time has just completed a technological explosion. However, the Singer civilization has already reached its peak and is constantly expanding its influence in the universe. With such a technological gap, how can the marginal world resist the powerful Singer civilization? Then, the video continued to play. When in the universe, the countless huge warships of the Singer civilization and the warships of the marginal civilization confronted each other. The Singer civilization was almost completely unaware that the rock battleship before them, which looked like a huge planet, was actually made up of a group of inorganic creatures. But this did not prevent the proud Singer civilization from despising this nascent warship. Apart from being huge, this battleship is completely useless in their eyes. The Edge world did not even realize that the enemy in front of them was a group of organic life forms. When the Singer civilization and the Edge world first met, neither of them could recognize that the other was actually a form of life. The Singer civilization believed that only organic matter was life, while the other side had never seen organic matter. Because of their completely different life characteristics, the 2 sides did not even communicate with each other, and the war was imminent. The Singer civilization decided to attack the marginal civilization by physically destroying the other planet, just like they did with the previous planet. Their methods are simple and crude. Endless artillery fire and rays attacked the marginal civilization, and the artillery fire completely covered the marginal civilization. However, they overlooked the particularity of life in marginal civilizations. A group of inorganic organisms will not die, as long as there is a piece of matter on their bodies, they can survive by relying on the matter. Large-scale artillery attacks cannot cause large-scale deaths of marginal civilizations. Even if the planet only loses a corner, the dark brown rock can fill in the missing corner as soon as possible. The attack, which was enough to completely shatter dozens of star regions, had little effect on this group of inorganic creatures. It was not until now that the audiences from all over the world fully realized the terrifying vitality of that marginal civilization. And marginal civilizations will not passively accept being beaten. Faced with the first attack from the Singer civilization, the marginal civilizations used their most familiar means to fight back. They changed the chemical properties of the Singer civilization planet, causing many Singer creatures to suffer from oxidative diseases. Modifying chemical properties is very easy for this group of inorganic organisms. A large amount of liquid water penetrated into the planet of the Singer civilization as if it could penetrate every pore. They modify the amount of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide in the air by oxidizing themselves. As organic creatures, Singers need to breathe. They were attacked by a resistance from a marginal civilization. This scene also amazed the audience. Although the technological capabilities of marginal civilizations have not yet matured. However, due to the uniqueness of their race, they can also make the Singer civilization helpless and resist the Singer civilization at the same time. Finally, the Singer civilization could no longer tolerate this. They were so proud and powerful that they would not allow such creatures in the universe to challenge them. Their warships began to destroy the stars of the fringe worlds in large numbers. This battle lasted for several years. This stage is the most difficult period for the marginal world. However, the Singer civilization soon discovered that the inorganic organisms that lost their ecological bodies were not dead. Because inorganic life does not need the sun, sunlight, and water. Even some creatures that lost their stars were merely frozen by the cold. As long as the Edge world went back to thaw them, these creatures would still be able to return to the battlefield. This once again brought unparalleled shock to the audience. Especially the immortal cultivators from the fantasy and primitive worlds, they were extremely envious when they saw this scene. The attack of the Singer civilization is very powerful, or rather, too powerful. Even for immortal cultivators like them, they might not be able to survive such a massive physical attack. Unless it is a great emperor-level formation, it can intercept the attack of those warships. However, this group of inorganic creatures actually used their bodies to withstand the artillery attacks of the Singer civilization. Even if their bodies are blown to pieces, they will not die. As long as they are thawed, they can be resurrected immediately and put back into the battlefield. Isn't this the immortality that all the monks in the world dream of? I now feel that, in some aspects, we monks are really inferior to these technological civilizations. If someone had told me in the past that I was not even as good as a rock, I would have been so angry that I would have slapped him twice. But now I believe it. I am really not even as good as a rock. Well, whether technology is more powerful or cultivation is more powerful, there is nothing to argue about. Technology is more reflected in the collective, while cultivation is the strength of the individual. I believe that these technologies will definitely be disdained in front of real immortals and emperors. Indeed. The Guiding Saint. FK. Could the name above be the Jiyan Taoist, one of the two saints in the west of the prehistoric world? Haha, it seems that fellow deist Jiyan also feels that these technologies are vulnerable. However, that regularity level weapon two-dimensional foil is indeed magical. Alas, it's a pity that it's still not as good as my son Wang Teng. My son Wang Teng has the potential to be an emperor. Alright, stop bragging. You know, the Singer civilization is only ranked 9th. Wait for the list to be updated. Sooner or later, a technological civilization will defeat all of you immortal cultivators. Spider-Man Parker. The debate in the barge did not stop the video from playing. At this moment, the omniscient and omnipotent voice of narration sounded. The Singer civilization realized that if they continued to be in a stalemate, they would never be able to eliminate these troublesome inorganic creatures. So, they chose a more powerful force. Activate the black hole and launch a powerful black hole attack. 028. 28 Black Hole Strike? The emergence of this new word has aroused the curiosity of countless cultivators in the ancient fantasy world. But it makes all the technological civilization people turn pale at the mere mention of it. Black holes are a substance that every researcher is terrified of. It is a celestial body that exists in the universe. The gravitational pull of a black hole is so strong that the escape velocity within the event horizon is greater than the speed of light. Therefore, a black hole is a celestial body whose space-time curvature is so great that even light cannot escape from its event horizon. Even the most outstanding scientists in modern times do not dare to claim to understand black holes. A black hole, just as its name suggests, is a bottomless pit of pitch black. If you are sucked into a black hole, you will never be able to escape. No one knows what is inside a black hole, because anyone who enters a black hole will completely lose contact. The technological power of the Singer civilization can even control black holes? But why didn't we introduce this part when introducing the Singer civilization before? Tony Stark. Is it possible that all advanced civilizations are able to manipulate black holes, so that there is no need to introduce this technology at all? Zhang Hulan. What? So this is the true power of advanced civilization? Then what have we humans been working hard for all these years, Luoji? Black hole? Very interesting. Death Star Lord. Oh my god, did a name that looks awesome flash across the comments above. Black hole? What is that? It sounds very powerful. By Xiao, all the people in the heavens and the world are curious about this new word, especially the primitive and fantasy cultivators. They have never heard of the term. But soon, as the video played, they fully understood the horror of this substance called black hole. The Singer civilization began to attack the fringe world by activating the galaxy's black holes. There is a black hole in the center of every galaxy. By sending a large amount of matter into the black hole will erupt violently. The rays emitted by this eruption can pass through the extremely distant universe and destroy all living things on the way. As the voice of the narration fell, the audiences in all the heavens and worlds were clearly visible. Deep within the universe, there is a pitch-black black hole that is so dark that it seems like it could completely suck you in if you look at it with your eyes, but it is constantly bursting with energy. Waves of energy radiated outward, and more spatial cracks appeared in the black hole, as if a giant beast could open its mouth and tear the space into pieces at any time. Inside this black hole, there are many spots of light radiating outwards. Their light keeps flickering, constantly changing shape, and their colors become brighter and brighter. Finally, they gathered together and formed a dazzling ball of light. The light of this ball of light has surpassed that of the sun, just like a bright moon hanging in the sky, dazzling. Finally, the ball of light exploded completely in the void. After the explosion, the light ball emitted endless scattered rays, which devoured the stars and galaxies, and seemed to devour everything in its path. It passed through the cosmic singularity, spanned the endless universe, and finally, black hole rays are swallowing up the marginal civilization. At this moment, facing the attacks of the Singer civilization, the marginal civilization that had always been invincible finally suffered a setback. A large number of marginal inorganic creatures were irradiated by the rays from the black hole and were devoured, disappearing completely, leaving nothing behind. The vitality that they are so proud of seems so vulnerable when facing a black hole. The marginal civilizations were in a panic. All they could do was run away, escape from here, and stay away from everything here. The remaining inorganic creatures that had not yet died formed a fleet, fled from here, and migrated to other surrounding small galaxies. The entire battle seemed to be over at this moment. The Singer civilization won. They obtained the galaxy of the Edge world and successfully expanded their civilization here. At this point in the video, it began to fade gradually. Many viewers are still shocked by the terrifying devouring power of the black hole, and even now, some people have not yet reacted. Black hole. I used to find it hard to imagine what kind of power such matter would create if it could be controlled by humans. Now I have seen it. Tony Stark. The power to devour everything. If it weren't for the list video, I wouldn't have known that such a powerful technology existed. Lu Paiqiang. If such power could be applied to reality, Zhang Hulan. Wake up. We may not see any progress in black hole research in this lifetime. Spider-Man Parker. It's so wonderfully powerful. So this is the power of the black hole in the universe. Indra. I have to admit that the power of scientific and technological civilization always surprises me, but if it is only to this extent, my son can do it too. My son Wang Teng has the potential to be an emperor. Where the hell is your son? Don't let me find him, or I'll break his legs. Hong Wang Daipen. Wait, don't you find this a bit strange? This isn't right. Isn't this a list of marginal civilizations? Then why were marginal civilizations defeated by the Singer civilization? Shouldn't marginal civilizations be stronger than the Singer civilization? Yes. Shouldn't the protagonist be a marginal civilization? How come it suddenly became a Singer civilization? While the audience was sending barrages of complaints, some people suddenly realized that the video was not over. It seems that, until now, the video has just begun. Sure enough, the next moment, the video came back on. The magnetic narration voice sounded at this time. The Singer civilization is too proud. They believe that they have mastered powerful core scientific and technological technologies, so they don't worry at all that marginal civilizations will make a comeback. However, they were totally wrong. How could a race that took only a few thousand years to develop technology from scratch just give up? The video shows the scene after the Singer civilization caused a black hole attack on the marginal civilization. The inhabitants of the fringe worlds drift like dandelions to every planet within reach. These inorganic organisms took root and survived on these barren planets where no living things could survive, and continued to reproduce. They fulfilled the original intention of their race, occupying galaxies and strengthening themselves. After the black hole strikes, a galaxy is destroyed, but several enemy-occupied galaxies appear. The real countries in the edge galaxies have been formed. On the edge of the world, a new technological explosion has begun again. 029. The development of the story did not disappoint the audience in all the heavens and worlds. After all, this is the main venue of the list of marginal civilizations, so if we are going to talk about it, we should also talk about how powerful the marginal world is. How could they be so devastated by being defeated by the Singer civilization? Due to the attack of the Singer civilization, the marginal civilization began to decompose. After the decomposition, they occupied several edge galaxies as they wished, and the entire edge civilization established a galaxy country. Inorganic creatures have common thoughts, so no matter where they are, their relationships are closely connected. As expected, the fringe world has risen again. After occupying other planets, they discovered other inorganic substances on these planets. Inorganic organisms continue to multiply, and they are no longer a single liquid or rock substance. At the same time, these marginal world people began to comprehensively transform their physical and chemical properties with the newly discovered inorganic matter. It is precisely because the principles of existence of inorganic organisms are completely different from the ecological appearance of organic organisms that they can completely transform themselves. Such high-intensity transformation has made them themselves unaware of what kind of creatures they have become. But inorganic creatures have never been afraid of this. Through transformation, their vitality has become stronger and their adaptability has become stronger. Even more amazing is the evolutionary ability of marginal civilizations. During the war, these inorganic entities finally discovered their technological backwardness. They were able to face the attacks of the Singer civilization entirely due to the strong adaptability of their own race. Therefore, in the subsequent technological development, the marginal civilization developed from its own racial perspective while gaining experience from the Singer civilization. Eventually, they developed powerful magnetic field technology and star blasting technology. With these two new technologies in hand, the time has come for the edge world to turn around. Their attacks were very effective. In the early stages of the battle, a large number of inorganic creatures carried magnetic field technology to attack the magnetic field of the Singer civilization. The cosmic magnetic field completely covers the planet, and the powerful cosmic radiation completely burns the entire surface of the planet, causing almost all living things and plants on the surface of the planet to die. However, the inorganic creatures in the marginal world were able to escape this disaster by relying on the adaptability of their own race. The second attack was against the entire star of the Singer civilization, just as the Singer civilization had done to them before. The Singer civilization was shocked by the improvement in the technological level of the marginal world civilization, and finally realized that the growth rate of the marginal civilization was too alarming. When the war between the two sides reached its late stage, the edge world has also begun to prepare for a massive counterattack. Through controlling the black hole, we carried out an advanced dimensionality reduction attack and dealt the final blow to the Singer civilization. Even creatures in higher dimensions would feel powerless when faced with a black hole. Therefore, the edge world wants to control the black hole closest to the Singer civilization and draw it into the Singer civilization's galaxy. The fringe world succeeded, and at a heavy price they gained control of the black hole that had driven these inorganic creatures out of their home. Just as the Singer civilization had treated them before, they also borrowed the power of the black hole and launched an attack on the Singer civilization. As the black hole's surface carries an astonishing gravitational force that continues to pull on the galaxy of the Singer civilization. Finally, the Singer civilization finally realized the crisis was coming. If they continue to sit there and wait for death, they will probably be completely merged into the black hole. So, the Singer civilization finally used its ultimate weapon, the two-dimensional foil. Because the cleaning of the two-dimensional foil is bidirectional, the Singer civilization is forced to use it. In the end, both civilizations entered the two-dimensional world and the war ended. At this moment, after watching the entire video and seeing the war between the two great civilizations, the audience from all over the world could not recover for a long time. This time's video review did not introduce them slowly from the peak of civilization like the previous two times. Instead, it gradually begins with the birth of marginal civilizations. This time, they truly witnessed the development of an advanced civilization from scratch, as well as their racial power that was not afraid of death. Even if they retreat a step, these inorganic creatures of the marginal civilization will not be able to successfully resist the Singer civilization. And it is precisely because they chose to resist, they chose to unite, and seek survival in the cracks. They succeeded. For some reason, when the list of marginal civilizations ended, the viewers who were watching the list actually sighed for a moment. I feel impressed by the power of advanced civilizations and admire the great dedication of the marginal world. At the same time, it is a pity that such a powerful civilization with high technological level and speed still ended up perishing together with the Singer civilization. However, given the marginal civilization's strong racial adaptability and their technological level, it is a well-deserved fact that the marginal civilization ranks higher than the Singer civilization. What a wonderful universe! Even a powerful and advanced civilization will eventually be destroyed. Pluto. The Singer civilization was too proud. Even at the end, they were unwilling to admit the fact that they were defeated by the Edge world, so they chose to use the two-dimensional foil to perish together. Luoji. Are there any scientific research giants who would like to consider making something like two-dimensional foil? I can provide financial support. Tony Stark. Two-dimensional foil is a high-dimensional weapon. I doubt it can be made with our real-world technology. Spider-Man Parker. Don't doubt, be confident. Liu Peiqiang. I have to admit that in some ways, these weak stones are stronger than the monks, but, if they want to surpass the saints with just such technology, I don't think they are qualified. Hongwang Daipen. I am actually looking forward to the subsequent inventory content. Will there be an existence that can be compared with the saints? Of course, even if a few more civilizations appear, they cannot compare to my son Wang Teng. Ha 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 ha. My son Wang Teng has the potential to be an emperor. The comments after the video ended were peaceful, and most of the comments were still discussing the contrast between technological power and primitive fantasy. Until a pair of famous names appeared and broke this quiet harmony. Technology? It's nothing but toys made by a group of weak fragments that are struggling to survive. Kundi Saint. Indeed. The guiding saint. The top saints in the prehistoric rankings, the two saints of the West, appeared. 030. With the appearance of the two saints from the West, the discussion atmosphere in the entire barrage suddenly changed. It's like when everyone is discussing the differences between the technological side and the immortal cultivation side in a friendly manner, and suddenly someone jumps out to deliberately discredit the other side, which is disgusting. Of course, this cannot be called deliberate smearing. After all, the person who said this was one of the most famous saints on the Hongwang list, Zunti Taoist. The guide Taoist, who is also one of the two saints in the West, seems to agree with what Zunti said. In the eyes of saints, these so-called dimensionality reduction weapons and technological civilizations seem to be nothing. Dimensionality reduction weapons? They have those too. Looking at the numerous magic weapons in the ancient world, the same effect can be achieved with just the purple gold gourd and the jade bottle. Not to mention many spells like the universe in the sleeve, whose effects are similar to dimensionality reduction weapons such as the two-dimensional foil. As for some other aspects of technology, they are extremely ordinary in the eyes of saints. It seems that in the eyes of the saints, only the terrifying black hole shown in the video can arouse their interest a little. At this moment, the entire universe has become a mess. The influence of the ancient saints is so great that a single word from them shows their stance and attracts several followers to move forward. Soon, after the appearance of the two great saints Jiyan and Zunti, the monks on the prehistoric side seem to have received some kind of support. A large number of monks jumped out. Is technology very powerful? I don't think so. Otherwise, these two advanced civilizations would not have caused the extinction of civilization because of it. Duobeo Taoist. Haha, I've been unhappy with this crap technological civilization for a long time. This time the saint took the initiative to come forward, which has clearly shown the problems on the technological side. Chang'er Guangxian. Science and technology are full of problems and are indeed not as profound as our Taoism. Hongwang Daipen. I think none of you are as good as my son Wang Teng. My son Wang Teng has the potential to be an emperor. Don't exaggerate. The fringe world civilization is only 8th on the list. There are still so many technological civilizations ahead of you that have not been counted. Don't think you are really at the top of the world. Zhang Hulan. Saint? Does a saint have nothing to fear? You know, those people on the myth list haven't said a word until now. Indra. At the top of the immortal world, as long as I am online, there will be heaven. Online. Technology has always been used to benefit society and the masses. This is something that you selfish cultivators will never be able to do. Mechanical pioneer. Yes, technology benefits mankind. It creates a better future for us. Future guardian. Well, since both the prehistoric and technological sides have started fighting, then I, as a fantasy fan, cannot keep a low profile. I believe fantasy is the strongest. Fighting power, stage 3. People are always chasing after fame and fortune, enjoying the highest honors and praises. As a result, they forget the original intention of fighting. War is never about determining who is right or wrong. Pluto. After the mocking comments from Western saints appeared, the long-standing conflict between the primitive side and the technological side finally broke out. Forget about saints, we really have nothing to say when saints mock us. After all, saints are, to some extent, the world's top combat power. This ceiling level is not something that ordinary technology can touch. But what qualifications do the rest of you have to look down on technological civilization? You are a bunch of garbage that have never been cleaned up by the two-dimensional foil. What qualifications do you have to be so arrogant? The leader of the Singer civilization. I hope you can be so stubborn when you are standing next to the surface of a black hole and being burned by the temperature of the Sunday, leader of the three-body civilization. Oh my god. The Singer civilization and the three-body civilization, which are both on the list, appeared at the same time. Who said that I have no one on the technology side? Haha. We also have the support of big guys on the technology side. Hasn't the Singer civilization been 2D? How come the leader of the Singer civilization can still speak? I can see from the above post that I didn't watch the video of the Singer civilization carefully. The Singer civilization can live in two-dimensional space, so the Singer civilization is naturally alive. If the number 1 technological civilization appeared, how dare these primitive monks do this? Even saints would have to respect us. I don't know who the top technological civilization is. Ranked first must be our intelligent engineering robot civilization. Intelligent engineering robot civilization, we, the Zingai Universe civilization, are willing to lead the technological civilization to become the first civilization. Zingai Universe civilization, how indecent. It seems you will never realize what real art is. Cryogenic artist civilization, we can only be first. Military commander of the Galactic Empire until a barge appeared, completely silencing the barge in the entire live broadcast room. It's really funny. Even if you are the first technological civilization, you can't open a dimensional tunnel. Besides, the technology you are so proud of is useless in front of the saint. As soon as this barge was released, it was bombarded by countless technological civilizations. But just as this barge said, no one can do anything to him except cursing him in the barge. No one can open the tunnel to the heavens and myriad worlds. Most people only know that such a world exists, but can never reach that world. No technology can penetrate the dimensional channel, and no magic can allow people to enter another world. This seems to have become the rule of this world, and even the ancient saints and mysterious emperors cannot follow it. At the same time, the technological world and the primitive world were quarreling and cursing each other. At the same time, inside the Galactic Empire, above a beautiful ocean of stars that is so exquisite that it looks like a small world, I saw a human figure standing among the stars. Her long silver-white hair fell behind her, and her face was beautiful yet slightly cold. She closed her eyes, quiet and peaceful. The woman stretched out her slender hand and pointed a finger, and the sparks at her fingertips connected with several cosmic stars around her. Then, it returned to darkness, as if time had gone back. At this time, she opened her eyes, and her pupils twinkled like stars. After a long time, her cold and clear voice echoed in the whole world. For the Galactic Empire. 031. 31 This barge battle between primitive civilization and technological civilization ended in vain. It's like going back to the very beginning. Among all the worlds, every world looks down on technological civilization. Because in their eyes, technological civilization is too weak. Even if advanced civilizations such as the Singer civilization and the marginal civilization appear, they will only make the immortal cultivators slightly surprised. At this moment, the audience living in technological civilization all have an idea. The prehistoric monks are really going too far. If a more advanced civilization appeared on the list, it would be a slap in the face of these prehistoric people. While all the heavens and worlds were thinking about it, the fourth inventory in the video also arrived as promised. The civilizations counted this time brought a wonderful surprise to all people in the heavens and the worlds. Inventory of science fiction civilizations in the universe, the top 10 most perverted science fiction civilizations. 7 Mirror Civilization. Reason for being on the list: one of the civilizations that has achieved pure energy, it can freely travel through any dimension in the universe, explode supernovas at will, and use stars as musical instruments and the universe as a concert to play and sing. When the fourth and seventh cosmic civilization appeared, the heavens and myriad worlds showed a completely different kind of shock than before. Mirror Civilization, what kind of civilization is this? Can you easily explode supernovas and play with stars as musical instruments? What kind of amazing and terrifying technological power is needed to achieve this level? For a moment, before the video started playing, countless viewers had already expressed their amazement. My God, exploding a supernova with just a flick of my finger? Is this the amazing power of technology at its limit? Tony Stark, how can such a powerful civilization only rank 7th among technological civilizations? How terrifying will the civilizations after that be? Spider-Man Parker crushing a supernova with ease? Is that amazing? Why do I feel like your attitudes have changed? Big Xiao, awesome, really awesome. You know, a supernova is a violent explosion that some stars experience near the end of their evolution, and the radiation energy released by a supernova is comparable to the total radiation energy of the sun in its lifetime. You know, the Singer civilization was forced to fail because of the means used by marginal civilizations to attack stars. This means that the technology of the Mirror civilization has completely overcome the radiation of stars. With this method alone, it is not an exaggeration for the Mirror civilization to stand above the marginal civilizations. Dr. Agaza. I still don't quite understand. Bai Xiao, if you don't understand, watch the video, and you will understand after watching it. Hong Wang Deipen, perhaps this time, technological civilization can bring us more surprises. Thanos. The video began to play accompanied by the sounds of arguments and doubtful discussions. Entering the video, everyone felt as if they were actually there, entering a certain universe. This is the darkest place in the universe. It seemed like endless nothingness, surrounded by some twinkling stars. But if someone looks towards the center of the universe, he will be surprised to find something. On both sides of the center of the universe, the number of stars is exactly the same, both in position and in number. Until the video completely distances itself, as if the universe is shrinking, shrinking, and shrinking again. Then, people from all over the world got an answer. That is, a mirror. A mirror as big as 10 billion square kilometers. However, within the scope of the video, this mirror seems a little small. But this is still enough to make countless viewers feel cold inside. A huge mirror separates the two sides of the universe. The planets on this side cannot see the planets on the other side. All they can see is their opposite self in the mirror. It's as if the entire universe is completely blocked and isolated. As countless audiences felt a chill down their spines, the omniscient and almighty voice also sounded at this moment. 7. The music performer of the universe, Mirror Civilization. Mirror Civilization is a civilization that has become purely energy-based. Its essence is a mirror. It is a kind of power whose technology has been fully developed to the top. Mirror Civilization no longer has the concept of collective and individual, its existence is the power of a civilization. No more concepts of collective and individual. This sentence gave the audience a somewhat mysterious feeling. If we say that what the previous major civilizations brought to the audience was the continuation of civilization, the power of science and technology, and racial harmony. But this time, the experience that the Mirror Civilization brought them was completely different. This time, the video did not tell the origin and development of Mirror Civilization. In the video, there is only one mirror in the universe. After observation, the audience noticed that this huge mirror was traveling around the universe at a speed infinitely fast, even exceeding the speed of light. However, considering its body that covers an area of a more than 10 billion square meters in the vast universe, its speed is not obvious. Until this mirror came to a planet with living creatures. It is a blue planet, made up of mostly oceans, parts of continental plates, and glaciers at the north and south poles. Many people are very familiar with this planet, especially humans. That is a globe. When the entire mirror came above the Earth, it covered the entire Earth with its body, which was nearly 100 times larger than the Earth. At the same time, the Earth fell into an unprecedented panic. 032. 032, two Earths colliding with each other? At this moment, a concert is taking place on Earth. The characters here are the most important beings on Earth. They come from different countries and hold the highest positions in these countries. The sun has been setting for a long time. This is the last moment of day and night, and also the most charming moment of the day. At this time, the night light illuminated the concert, and the piano music echoed all around, making the concert quiet and peaceful. At this moment, audiences around the world don't quite understand. Why did the video footage suddenly change from a mirror in the universe to this concert on Earth? The next moment, they all understood. When the mirror is close to the Earth, night light is reflected by the tilted angle of the mirror. At this moment, people on the ground seem to finally realize the difference between things. Look, what is that? The president of country C looked up at the sky and pointed at two constellations in the sky. The president also looked up and smiled. That's the Southern Cross, and that's Canis Major. I also like to observe the stars in my life. In the ever-changing historical process, our profession needs a permanent and stable reference. But what if this stability is just an illusion, said the president of country C. Why do you say that? Mr. President, in fact, the starry sky here yesterday may be different from today. The president of country C looked up at the stars for the third time. His face was calm, but his stern eyes made both the Secretary General and the President secretly nervous. They also looked up at the sky. This was the peaceful night sky they had seen countless times. There is no difference. They all looked at the President in confusion. The two constellations I just pointed out should only appear in the southern hemisphere. The President of country C said. He did not point out the constellations to them again, nor did he look at the stars again. His eyes were staring straight ahead. The Secretary General and the President looked at the President of country C in confusion. What we are seeing now is the starry sky on the other side of the Earth. The President of country C said calmly. Are you kidnapping? The President almost screamed, but he controlled himself and his voice was lower than before. But the President actually believed most of it, because he also realized that it was impossible to see such a constellation in this city. He wanted to retort, but the President's words seemed to be stuck in his throat and he couldn't utter a word. It's like higher dimensional creatures have completely blocked the cognition of lower dimensional creatures, which makes people panic. That is actually the case. At this time, no one realized that the entire Earth was covered by a mirror. Look, what is that? The Secretary General pointed to the ceiling and raised his hand only to the level of his eyes in order not to disturb others. Of course it's the moon. The President raised his head and looked at the President of country C next to him, and the President of country C slowly shook his head. He looked up again. This time he doubted his own judgment. At first glance, the semicircular object in the sky looks like half a full moon, but it is blue, as if a small piece of the blue sky during the day faded and stuck to it. The President looked up at the blue semicircle in the sky. Once he concentrates, his keen observation skills become apparent. He held out a finger and used it as a ruler to measure the blue moon, saying, "It's expanding." All three of them looked up and stared intently, regardless of whether they were disturbing anyone else. The heads of state on both sides and behind noticed their movements. More people looked in that direction, and the sound of the band tuning their instruments on the open-air stage suddenly stopped. At this point, it is certain that the blue hemisphere is not the moon, because its diameter has expanded to about twice the diameter of the moon. Some details can be seen in the darkness on its other hemisphere. People discovered that its surface is not entirely blue. Oh my god, isn't that North America? Someone screamed. He is right. People saw the familiar shape of the continent, located at the junction of the light and dark sides of the sphere. I wonder if anyone thinks this is consistent with their current position. Later people recognized the Asian continent, the Arctic Ocean and the Bering Strait. That's Earth. The President of country A withdrew his finger. At this point, the expansion of the blue sphere in space can be seen without reference. Its diameter is now at least 3 times that of the moon. This is an illusion, the Secretary General said. Yes, said the President of Country C, if it were a physical entity, its gravitational effect should be felt. Besides, we are too close to the ocean, and the Earth would have been submerged by the tide long ago. It's far from a tidal problem. The President of Country R said, the gravity of the two Earths is enough to tear each other apart. In fact, the laws of physics do not allow two Earths to exist like this. The Prime Minister of Country J said. Then he turned to the President of Country C, before the Earth appeared, you talked about the appearance of the southern hemisphere above us. Does this have anything to do with what is happening now? Maybe we can get an answer right away, said the President of Country A. He is talking on the cell phone. Guo Yuking next to him told everyone that the President was contacting the International Space Station. At this moment, everyone focused their expectant eyes on him. The President listened attentively and spoke almost nothing, and there was total silence on the lawn. Under the blue light of another Earth in the sky, people are like a group of unreal ghosts. After waiting for about 2 minutes, the President put down the phone, climbed onto the chair and spoke loudly. Everyone, this is very simple. There is a big mirror next to the Earth. 033. As the President's words fell, almost everyone present breathed a sigh of relief. People always feel fear when facing the unknown. But when they learn the truth about the object, the fear is at least slightly reduced. Although they are still trapped in the shadow of the mirror, at least they don't have to worry about the Earth falling from the sky and causing the two Earths to collide with each other. It's not just the humans on Earth. Even the audience from all over the world breathed a sigh of relief. The oppressive feeling brought by the mirror was so shocking that when they were immersed in it, they even thought they were covered by the mirror. They could hardly imagine that a civilization in the universe could do this. Covering the entire sky, the starry sky people see is reflected in a mirror. It's as if higher dimensional creatures are teasing lower dimensional creatures. Spider-Man Parker. It feels similar to the Trisolaran Civilization's Intellectual Sun Project, which also blocks people's sight, but the Trisolaran Civilization's Intelligent Sun Project is carried out directly based on human cognition. Holy hexy, honestly, if I hadn't looked closely, I would have thought it was a starry sky, but no one wants to have an Earth hanging above their head. Tony Stark. This actually gives me a feeling of separate universes, on both sides of the mirror, as if they are completely isolated from each other, because now it is obvious that the moon has disappeared. Morty, I can't even figure out the source of this technology. How did this huge mirror appear in the universe and be able to refract light? And, what material is this mirror made of? Dr. Agaza's scientific researchers from all over the world are observing this mirror, trying to get some useful answers from it. This time, almost no one from the audiences of the primitive and fantasy worlds dared to speak out. Because the appearance of the mirror also brought them endless shock. Imagine that a mirror appears in the universe, which is dozens of times larger than the entire world, and appears above the world. The sky is just like what is reflected in the mirror, the two worlds seem to be reversed. The mirror isolates the entire world. It is like the way of heaven, completely isolating the monk's cognition. Just like now, the monks have no idea what the outside world beyond this world is like. It was as if some hidden rules were controlling them. Even saints and emperors cannot transcend the world and jump out of it to look at the wider universe. At this moment, the collective audience of primitive and fantasy had to admit the power of scientific and technological civilization. This kind of strength is not due to the difference in strength. If we talk about strength, the saints of the prehistoric times are still at the ceiling level of combat power. This is a difference in worldview. The vast world, the huge universe, and the interstellar space are enough to make people dazzled. This is the universe. Just as the audience was collectively shocked. That omniscient and omnipotent voice finally sounded at this moment. Astronauts on Earth approached the Earth reflected in the mirror. At this time, they discovered that the Earth in the mirror did not have any mass. It was a complete reflection of the light. Then, they learned about the existence of the mirror. An astronaut goes into space to conduct the first human contact with a mirror. The thrusters on the spacesuit blew out long puffs of white smoke. The astronauts quickly covered a distance of 3 kilometers. He carefully adjusted the nozzle of the jet and finally hovered about 10 meters away from the mirror. In the mirror, his image was very clear and without distortion. This is the smoothest surface in the universe. It's just a big mirror. It's hard to be seen as anything else. Its surface reflects visible light without attenuation or distortion, and also reflects radar waves. This huge cosmic mirror covers an area of a about 10 billion square kilometers. If you look at it from a sufficient distance, the mirror and the Earth look like a chess piece in the middle of a chessboard. The mirror is not a solid entity but a force field, otherwise it would not be able to hang in the sky above the northern hemisphere together with the Earth in a relatively static state. Realizing this, the astronauts decided to move closer to the mirror. The astronaut carefully activated the jet, frequently moving the position of the nozzle, and eventually shortened the distance between him and the mirror to half a meter. He looked at himself in the mirror face to face and was again surprised at the accuracy of the image. It seems to be a perfect replica of reality, giving people a feeling that it is better than reality. He raised one hand and stretched it forward. It was less than a centimeter away from the hand in the mirror and almost folded together. He pushed his hand forward and it disappeared under the mirror, his two arms connected at the wrist to the man in the mirror. His hands felt nothing during this contact. He pulled his hands back and held them in front of his eyes. The spacesuit gloves were intact without any marks. Finally, he made up his mind and went through the mirror alone. As he rushed to the mirror, he heard the commander's command in his earphone. But after passing through the mirror, the sound was cut off as if by a sharp blade. This is because the mirror blocks the radio waves. What's even more terrifying is that the Earth cannot be seen from this side of the mirror. On the other side of the mirror, there is also a mirror. Surrounded by the endless starry sky, the astronauts felt as if they were isolated in another world and felt a sense of panic in their hearts. He turned the nozzle around, braked, and flew back. After his head passed through the mirror, he was relieved to see the blue Earth below. After 2 consecutive mirror shuttle flights, the astronauts came to a surprising conclusion. This thing has no thickness, he shouted. Maybe it's only a few atoms thick and you can't see it. That's why its arrival was not detected by Earth. If it was flying towards Earth with its edge on, we wouldn't see it, commented the people on the shuttle as they reviewed the returned images. But what shocked them most was that this mirror, which was probably only a few atoms thick but covered hundreds of Pacific Oceans, was absolutely flat, so that the mirror was parallel to the line of sight and could not be seen at all. It is the ideal plane in the world of classical geometry. Its absolute smoothness can be explained by its absolute flatness, that of an ideal mirror. In the hearts of the astronauts, loneliness began to overwhelm shock and fear. Mirrors make the universe strange. They are like a group of newborn babies abandoned in the wilderness, unable to face this incredible world. At this time, the mirror spoke. 034. 034 The sun is my piano. I'm a musician. The huge mirror in the sky made a surprising sound at this moment. At this moment, everyone in the heavens and even on Earth was shocked. Especially those who are sleeping soundly on the Earth, they have been awakened. Those who were awake were extremely stunned, as if they had never seen such an amazing and shocking scene before. His voice is so pleasant that it can be heard by people all over the world. It's like declaring one's existence. The audiences from all over the world were shocked. The mirror actually spoke? Before this, everyone in the universe believed that this mirror was a powerful technology of the mirror civilization. They did not realize that this mirror is the essence of the mirror civilization. Is this mirror personal or civil? If it is an individual, will there be more such mirrors in the mirror civilization? Thinking of this, all the audiences in the heavens and the worlds couldn't help but feel a chill. What more people are interested in is the self-introduction of the mirror. He is a musician. At this time, the audience all remembered the introduction of the inventory in the network of all heavens and worlds. Using the sun as an instrument and the universe as a concert venue. Is he really going to use the sun to perform a concert in the universe? When all the audience were confused, the communication between the mirror civilization and the people on Earth began in the video. The mirror didn't just say one sentence and then end it. In response to his arrival, everyone on Earth wanted to talk to the mirror civilization. And the mirror civilization is also happy to communicate with these people on Earth. Because he saw that an epic and spectacular concert was taking place on Earth at this moment. Although this concert is not spectacular for the mirror. But mirror loves music, as he himself said, mirror is a musician. The mirror can also clearly see that the audience of this concert are all people who can represent the civilization of this planet. So the mirror is happy to communicate with them. The presidents were a little overwhelmed, so they sent someone to communicate with the mirror. During the communication, humans discovered that the mirror civilization was fully capable of communicating with humans without communication. No matter what language was used, the mirror civilization could answer with ease. This experience undoubtedly shocked humans, but they could not explain why a mirror they had never met could understand and learn human language. Finally, the mirror provided an explanation. As an advanced civilization, the mirror can distinguish all kinds of sounds on Earth, even those of bacteria. He can observe countless atoms at the same time, including various time dimensions. So much so that when the mirror arrived, it had already seen through the entire history of the Earth. This shocking technological advance once again shocked the presidents below. They were almost at a loss as to how to respond. But in the end, they asked a question. Why can we hear your voice? This is indeed a question worth asking. The mirror is so big, if its voice is transmitted through sound waves, then it is possible that the sound of the mirror can be heard by people all over the world. As the audience members are close to the mirror, they will probably be deafened by the super huge sound waves. In this regard, the mirror patiently gave humans an explanation. The technology he used is a super string wave technology. This technology is a function liberated from nuclear reactions, which can create interactive forces. This experience is like a hand beating the eardrum, vibrating the atmosphere, so that people all over the world can hear the voice of the mirror civilization. The last question is also a question that the audience from all over the world are very curious about. The human asked the mirror. Where did the mirror come from? No one knows. But as an advanced civilization and an elegant music artist, mirror does not want to spoil the interest of the audience below. So, it explained this. Talking about my origins? It's been a long time, both in time and space. So, there's no point in talking about it. Not only the humans on Earth, but also the audiences in all the heavens and worlds were all silent. No one expected that mirror civilization would say this. But the most important thing is that this also brought them an astonishing shock. This shows that the origin of mirror civilization is very ancient. Perhaps the mirror civilization had already appeared at the moment the universe was born. In the end, humans also understood why the mirror civilization was able to learn human language. As the mirror says, he has a clear view of the world. This also includes the entire history of mankind. Therefore, it is not difficult for a mirror to understand human language. The mirror can even talk about the music culture of the Earth, which makes the humans on Earth have great awe for the mirror. They were shocked by the mirror's knowledge of Earth's culture. But the mirror thinks these are nothing at all. After all, in the eyes of the mirror civilization, the Earth is just like a speck of dust, there is no difference. Finally, the people on Earth only asked one last question. The mirror is individual or collective? The mirror did not make any extra responses, he just said 2 sentences. After civilization has developed long enough in time and space, both individuals and groups will disappear completely at the same time. After civilization has developed long enough in time and space, both its form and content will disappear completely at the same time. However, this conversation has already stirred up a lot of waves in the hearts of people from all walks of life in the heavens and all realms. During this conversation, they realized the power of the mirror civilization. He called the Earth dust, but he did not show his pride, but humbly called himself dust. But now, it is a mirror. It is aware of everything. Although it has just arrived at Earth civilization, it knows everything on Earth. What shocked the audience the most were the words the Secretary General said when he communicated with the mirror. After civilization has developed long enough in time and space, both individuals and groups will disappear completely at the same time. After civilization has developed long enough in time and space, both its form and content will disappear completely at the same time. These 2 sentences seem to directly indicate the state of mirror civilization. It is a mirror, and at the same time, it is also a great civilization. In the eyes of the mirror civilization, the civilization he knows does not seem to be limited to the existence of race. Even the mirror civilization no longer has groups and individuals. It is just a mirror, and this mirror constitutes its civilization. This caused countless scientific researchers to fall into deep thought. Because the mirror civilization is an existence that they cannot understand at all. While everyone is still thinking about what kind of technology to develop to be truly powerful, mirror civilization has transcended all technological existence. It is as difficult to understand and explain as theology. Just like the famous saying goes, the end of scientific research is theology. Finally, the Secretary General in the video asked the most crucial question, which is also the question that the audience in all heavens and worlds want to know most. What is your purpose for coming here? Like I said, actually, I'm a musician. What I want to do is to start a concert in this universe. Because I am a stellar performer, the sun is my piano. Wow! Suddenly, the whole place was silent. 035. Mirror's powerful words stunned everyone. This also includes audiences from all the heavens and worlds. Playing the sun? That was almost unheard of. And in fact, it did so. At this moment, the huge mirror above the sky tilted at an angle. So that at night, humans on Earth can see the sun, because the mirror reflects the sun into the mirror. The sun in the mirror directly illuminates the Earth, and even part of the dark side appears as if it were daytime. And the humans were shocked again. After all, the mirror is too big. But he was able to make such a rapid tilt. If calculated normally, this means that the edge of the mirror almost exceeds the speed of light. Is this the power of a higher or even God-level civilization? Presidents on Earth were staring at the stunning reflection of the sun in the sky. It took them a long time to recover from their shock and fear. So, one after another, these people began to ask how the mirror civilization would use the sun to perform this cosmic concert. The mirror also gave the answer, and it was simple and easy to understand. Most musical instruments have a cavity, which causes the thin walls in the cavity to reflect sound waves, resulting in resonance and forming beautiful sounds. And for a mirror, a star is also a cavity. He only needs to use electromagnetic waves to produce refraction and reflection between stars, and produce amazing electromagnetic resonance within a horizontal range. You can play beautiful music. At this moment, several long and ethereal sounds were heard in the air. It's like the sound of a piano, giving the audience a wonderful viewing experience. This voice has a kind of magic that attracts everyone for a while, including audiences from all over the world. At this moment, they seem to have entered into a concert performed by the universe. It is hard to believe that this piece of music was actually played by the sun. And this is just the beginning. The performance of the mirror has not yet fully begun, it needs to wait for a certain time to come. That was a beat. At this time, the sky changed dramatically. In the mirror, the images of the Earth and the sun seemed to disappear. Instead, there are extremely bright silver ripples. Silver ripples jumped, as if covering the entire sky. At this moment, the Earth seemed to be trapped in a huge ocean. Beautiful and charming, like a fairyland. After this shocking viewing experience, the audience finally realized it. Where does this silver-white ripple come from? People on Earth are just as curious. The mirror gave an explanation without hesitation. 4 years ago, a supernova exploded, and its radiation burst was heading towards the Earth 4 years ago. And now, I am resisting the huge radiation from the outer layer of the universe, but I don't reflect it completely, so you can see the radiation with your naked eyes through my mirror. At this moment, the audience was completely shocked, including humans on the ground. At the same time, some people are extremely confused. From a supernova 4 years ago, how is that possible? You have to know that a planet that can produce supernova radiation nearby, even the closest one, could not have exploded 4 years ago and reached the Earth today. The constellation that can be close to the 4-year distance should be Sagittarius around the Earth. But Sagittarius is not qualified to become a supernova. Some presidents who knew something about astronomy expressed doubts about this, but Mirror just said it lightly. I qualified him for supernova combustion. At this moment, the audiences from all over the world opened their eyes wide, feeling extremely shocked. Although, in the description of the Mirror civilization, this is just the simple ability to detonate a supernova and make it have supernova mass. But in the eyes of the audiences in the heavens and the worlds, this is simply not on the same level. The powerful technological level demonstrated by the mirror civilization is enough to shock any audience in the heavens and all worlds. But what shocked them even more was the seriousness of mirror civilization towards art. Can it be said that mirror had planned this concert 4 years ago? 4 years ago, the mirror detonated a supernova, causing the radiation from the supernova to travel at the speed of light 4 years ago and reach the top of the Earth now. At the same time, a mirror appeared on Earth and performed this beautiful concert with the supernova explosion 4 years ago. Whether it is the ability to control the mass of cosmic stars or the mirror's ability to control the universe, it seems to be magical beyond technology. It's like having the entire universe at your fingertips and being able to control the rhythm you want at will. This is amazing art. Eventually, the humans on the ground gave up communicating with the mirror civilization because in their eyes, wanting to understand the mirror civilization was nothing but a pipe dream. Ants will never understand the Great Wall. At this time, the light waves in the sky began to gradually dim. People can no longer feel the sunlight. The moonlight has replaced the sun, shining on the surface of the sea, which is magnificent. The radiation from the supernova is also beginning to disappear. At this moment, humans on Earth felt wonderful and extremely shocked at the same time. You know, although the mirror civilization simply told the audience calmly that it blocked the energy of the supernova's burning. However, everyone knows it very well. If there were no mirrors to block the radiation from the supernova, the Earth today would probably have become a world without life. The light waves in the sky began to dim. Gradually, people felt that it was not the sun but the moonlight that was shining on the sea above, and the supernova was disappearing. At this time, the ripples in the sky had completely disappeared, and the beat that people had been expecting also appeared at the same time. On the east side of the world, people discovered an extremely straight dividing line. This line really shocked them, as if it completely cut off the entire sky. On one side is the sky, on the other side is the view of the Earth. Many people can see the beautiful and brilliant starry sky. One side is the starry sky in the northern hemisphere, and the other side is the starry sky in the southern hemisphere. And this dividing line goes from east to west, which once again brings the audience an ultimate viewing experience. Part of the brilliant starry sky was gradually enlarged, and the image of the Earth was completely erased. Because the mirror had flown away, he left the Earth. After this, people realized. The mirror did not leave the Earth, it just flew to the sun. Because he was going to start playing music. Just when everyone was wondering where the mirror had gone. Suddenly, daylight came. The beat appears. 036. As the mirror left, suddenly, daylight fell and the blue sky appeared. The bright sunlight spread over the entire Earth, and everything around was bright and prominent. But the day lasted only a second before it was over. Night had just returned and the stars and city lights appeared again. While people were still wondering, the night lasted only a second. Daylight reappeared, and a second later it turned into night. Then, day, night, day, night, day, night. Alternating at the same frequency as the pulses, it was as if the world were an image reflected from 2 consecutive slides. This is the beat of day and night. People looked up and immediately saw the shining sun. It is not big or small, but a dazzling point of light in space. Is that a pulsar? One president said. This is the remnant of a supernova, a spinning neutron star. There is a naked hot spot on the dense surface of the neutron star. As the star rotates, the neutron star becomes a cosmic beacon. The beam of light from the hot spot rotates and sweeps across a wide space. As the pillar of light swept across the solar system, the Earth day appeared briefly. The Secretary General said, I remember the pulsar being much faster than this. It does not appear to be emitting visible light. The president of a country covered his eyes with his hands, trying to adapt to this crazy beat world. The frequency is very fast, because the neutron star concentrates the angular momentum of the original star, and the mirror can consume this angular momentum somehow. As for visible light, do you really think that the mirror can't do anything? But there is one thing, said the president of C. There is no reason to suppose that all creatures in the universe have the same rhythm of life as humans, and that their musical beats must have different frequencies. For example, the normal beat frequency of a mirror may be faster than the beat frequency of our fastest computer. Yes, the president nodded, there is no reason to think that their visible electromagnetic spectrum is the same as our visible light. You mean the mirror will play music based on human senses? The Secretary General asked in surprise. The president of country C shook his head and said, I don't know, but there must be a benchmark. The pulsar's powerful beam of light sweeps majestically across the cold space, like a 40 trillion kilometer long baton still extending at the speed of light. At this point, the sun is plucked by the invisible fingers of the mirror, emitting a thick electromagnetic music that spreads across the universe at the speed of light. A concert starring the sun began. Rustling sounds, such as electromagnetic noise interference, or the sound of irregular waves washing over the beach, can sometimes sound desolate and vast, but are more chaotic and disorderly. The sound continued for more than 10 minutes without any change. No one can understand the meaning of such music, not even the audience in the heavens and all realms. I felt as if the entire universe had turned into a huge palace, a palace 20 billion light years high, and this sound lingered in the palace. Tony Stark, oh my god, I felt like I had really seen God. The feeling this music brought to me was so magical. Spider-Man Parker, unfortunately, I can't understand what kind of music this is. Lu Paiqiang mirror civilization is an advanced civilization after all. Perhaps it is because of this that we low-dimensional creatures cannot understand the music played by high-dimensional civilizations. Angel Yan, I have to admit that there are more powerful beings in technological civilization. I fully recognize the power of mirror civilization. Hong Wang Daipen. Me too. Zhang Yide from Yan. The mirror civilization has brought too many shocks to the world. Even if we ignore the concert that the mirror civilization has put together with great effort, the fact that it can use the sun as a musical instrument is enough to completely shock most people in the world. Whether it is the technological side, the fantasy side, or even the primitive side. The sun is always a very special individual. It can be a star, or it can be the incarnation of the three-legged golden crow in mythology. However, the mirror civilization can control the sun through technological means and use it as a means of performance. This is the most powerful thing that shocks the world. At this time, the music in the universe changed again. Its tone is no longer monotonous as before, with only 2 beats, but is full of new beats. It's like the ticking of a clock. The 2 notes appear consecutively, but with a long interval between them. Later, 2 more bars of notes appeared, then a third and a fourth. The 2 musical notes continued to appear against the chaotic background, like a group of fireflies in the dark night. A new melody emerged. It has 4 notes. At this time, the number of 4-note bars also increases. Then find that each 4-note bar is made up of the previous 2-note bars. As the number of 4-note bars increases, the number of 2-note bars decreases, as if the former consumes the latter. Later, the 8-tone bar appeared. Its structure was the same as before, and it was composed of 2 existing 4-tone bars. What did you all hear? The Secretary General asked the presidents around him. In the primordial ocean illuminated by lightning and volcanic lava, some small molecules are aggregating into large molecules. Of course, this is just my completely personalized imagination, said the president of country C. Imagine, please don't limit yourself to Earth, said President A. This kind of molecular aggregation may occur in the nebulae that map the light of stars. Perhaps it is not molecules that are agglomerated and combined, but some nuclear vortex inside the stars. At this point, a multi-note melody is highlighted with high notes. It appears again and again, as if it were a small arc of light in a world of darkness and confusion. At this time, even audiences from all over the world experience this unique concert. They are listening. This is an unprecedented opportunity. Once missed, no one will ever hear the sound of the sun's music again. Unconsciously, the background music began to change. At this time, people almost forgot its existence. It changes from the sound of waves to an heaving rustle, as if a rainstorm hits exposed rock. Then it becomes an open sound similar to wind. All the instruments suddenly burst into a brief chorus, forming a terrible loud noise, as if some huge entity had collapsed. Then it all ended abruptly. At first there was only the background sound, roaring like crazy waves. The simple 2-syllable melody reappears, beginning with a slow and difficult combination. It all started again. It was as if it had been extinct at the beginning, and finally came to the moment of revival from extinction. 037. All of this is as unexpected and surprising as the beginning of civilization. At this moment, audiences from all over the world are enjoying this wonderful concert. The audiences from all over the world couldn't help but think of the 3-body civilization when listening to this music of extinction and rebirth. After experiencing several extinctions, they are constantly seeking ways to survive in the midst of extinction. Finally, a technological explosion was achieved during the period of extinction and rebirth, and the 3-body civilization of today was established. Even the creatures of the 3-body civilization were moved by this wonderful concert. But the music is not over yet. The most wonderful thing is that it will come after the recovery of civilization. After a long and difficult process, sea swimmers began to enter other parts of the world. The melody gradually became more complex and grand, and people's understanding of it was no longer unified. Some people think of a great river flowing downstream, some think of a huge team trudging across a vast plain, and some think of a rolling nebula spinning through the darkness of space into a black hole. But everyone agrees that this is a grandiose process that probably describes the course of evolution. Evolution is almost the most beautiful word. Especially for people in the science fiction world, the word evolution seems to describe them. It seems to have evolved from primitive society to modern society. It has gradually evolved from modern society to advanced technology. Every novel development in technology is a step on the road of evolution. This movement was very long, so long that even the audience in the heavens were completely immersed in it. Before I knew it, a whole hour had passed. When the audience realized that the concert had been going on for so long, the content of the music changed again. Its melody gradually splits into 2 parts. These 2 melodies are in conflict and struggle, sometimes colliding wildly, sometimes tangled together. Typical Beethoven style. Someone said so. A long time later, Lee. Everyone was immersed in the wonderful music and no one spoke. The concert brought by the advanced civilization was shocking, and everyone was immersed in it. It looks like a fleet at sea fighting against huge waves, the Secretary General said. The president of country A shook his head. No, no. You should be able to hear that there is no essential difference between the 2 forces. I think this is a war that has spread to the whole world. I say, the silent president of country J interrupted, do you really think you can understand the art of foreign civilizations? Perhaps your understanding of this music is just like a cow's understanding of a zither. I believe our understanding is basically correct. The only universal language in the universe, besides mathematics, may be music. The Secretary General said, it may not be difficult to prove this. Can we predict the theme or style of the next campaign? After some thought, the president of country C said, I think there may be some worship below, and the melody will have strict architectural beauty. You mean like Bach? Yes. In fact, in the next movement, the audience seems to have entered a tall, stately church, listening to their footsteps echoing the emptiness within the grand building. They were overwhelmed by fear and awe of some invisible but omnipresent force. Then, this melody, which had already evolved into a fairly complex one, suddenly became simple again. For the first time, the background music disappeared. In the boundless silence, there was a series of crisp and short blows. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then, 1, 4, 9, 16. More and more complex sequences shuttled through. Then the music got even weirder. The violin plays many separate parts. Each section consists of 3 to 4 notes. The notes are the same in each measure, but there are different combinations of interval lengths, and there is a continuous slide that gradually increases, then decreases, and finally returns to the starting pitch. People seem to have some illusions about music. They seem to see a group of triangles and quadrilaterals floating at a constant speed in pure space. As for that kind of gliding, people see circles, ellipses, and perfect circles. Gradually, the melody begins to change, and the single notes that represented a straight line become glissando. But from the impression left by the music just now, people can still feel the geometric shapes floating in the abstract space. But these shapes are distorted, as if floating on water. The secret of time and space has been discovered. The next movement begins with a constant rhythm. Its frequency is the same as the pulsar's diurnal beat. The music seemed to stop, leaving only the beat echoing in the air. But soon, another constant rhythm joined in, slightly faster than the previous one. After that, constant rhythms of different frequencies are continuously added, and finally a magnificent ensemble emerges. But in the timeline, the music is constant, like a flat wall of sound. Later, a delicate melody appeared, ringing like a silver bell and changing like a dream. This contrasted sharply with the dull wall of sound behind it, as if it were a silver spirit flying inside the big machine. This melody was like a small but powerful drop of catalyst, triggering a wonderful chemical reaction in the world of steel, and those unchanging rhythms began to fluctuate and change. The thick axles and wheels of the huge machines gradually became as soft as plasticine. Finally, the whole orchestra became as light and agile as the melody of elves. At this moment, audiences all over the world dared not say a word, for fear that the barrage of comments would pollute this beautiful melody. The sun music continued and entered a new movement. This is the most complex movement and the most difficult to understand. Above the sky, day and night continued to overlap and alternate, as if in a beautiful rhythm. A piece of ethereal string music makes the music more grand. It was as if the spirits were speaking. Come find me now. 038. The concert goes on. At this moment, almost all the viewers in the universe who are watching the video have an extraordinary concert in their minds. No one can resist the charm of the sun concert, and no one wants to miss this unique concert. Perhaps the mirror civilization itself had never imagined that this concert it performed for the universe would actually spread throughout the heavens and the myriad worlds. This is a great promotion for mirror. The mirror civilization does not need to compare high and low. In its eyes, rankings are no longer necessary. It's all about art, and wherever there is music, it will flock to it. When Mirror realized that his art was appreciated by so many audiences in the heavens and the world, the Mirror was very happy. Then, it appeared in the live broadcast room of all heavens and worlds and sent a barrage. Thank you all in the heavens and the universe for appreciating my humble work. Mirror civilization. When this comment appeared in the live broadcast room, almost all the audience, whether they were enjoying the concert or not, were shocked. Here it comes. Barrage sent by Mirror civilization. This should be the first time that a bullet comment from a technological civilization like the Mirror civilization has appeared in the live broadcast room. This simply made the audience in the science fiction world ecstatic. For a long time, people in the science fiction field have been bullied so badly. The cultivators in the fantasy and primitive worlds have the support of saints and emperors behind them, but the technological side has nothing. Even if there were 2 civilizations at the bottom of the list, such as the Three-Body Civilization and the Singer Civilization, it would only slightly change the perception of people in other worlds about their science fiction world, but it would still not affect the overall situation. This time, the proactive appearance of the Mirror Civilization is of extraordinary significance. This means that behind their science fiction world civilization, there are also big guys that other worlds can look up to. Although the overall strength of the Mirror Civilization may not necessarily be comparable to that of saints like Hong Huang. But at least, the proactive appearance of the Mirror Civilization is enough to reassure the audience. The Mirror Civilization is only ranked 7th, but it already has the technological power to play the sun. Then wouldn't the technological civilization at the top be more powerful? Sooner or later, a technological civilization that surpasses the saints will emerge. At this moment, the audience on the technology side is very confident. The technological civilization they have been looking forward to will appear sooner or later. At the same time, on the prehistoric side. In Western religion, 2 great saints sit opposite each other. At this moment, the 2 saints Jiyan and Zunti were also enjoying this grand concert. When countless beautiful notes were transmitted between the 2 people's minds in the video, even the 2 great saints couldn't help but feel touched. Only. Apart from these feelings, there is nothing else. Zunti, what do you think? They are few and far between, and their abilities are acceptable. However, they are not as good as those in this world. The 2 looked at each other and Jiyan smiled. Good. There is no threat, so let it go. Zunti lowered his head, squinted his eyes and smiled. Don't miss the opportunity to be a god. No one knows what these 2 great saints are discussing. The secrets of the saints cannot be pried into, including the calamity of deification and so on. All of these things that have not happened yet will not be introduced in the video list. Western religion is still the same Western religion, and Jian and Sunti are still the same two saints. Certainly. The saint is indeed calculating something. But even saints cannot calculate things that are beyond the outside world. 039. The concert isn't over yet. At this moment, all the heavens and the world are still enjoying the music brought by the mirror. This music becomes even more intense when the mirror civilization itself appears in the video barrage. Everyone is curious and shocked by the technological power of the mirror civilization. All of a sudden, many viewers from all over the world started sending barrages of comments. Countless questions were asked to the mirror. Even though the mirror possessed computer thinking that surpassed everything in the world, it was unable to answer all the questions at once. Therefore, he only picked out a few questions that looked good and answered them. Hello, mirror. How did you manage to detonate a supernova? This question has made me think for a long time, but I really can't figure it out. Tony Stark. That is done by using hyperspace in the solar system to detonate it near Proxima Centauri in a short period of time, and then jump back to the solar system again. Therefore, its explosion will reach that planet 4 years later. Mirror civilization. The answer from the mirror civilization was very simple. They used hyperspace to jump to Proxima Centauri and detonate a supernova. But it's easier said than done. For humans, this is simply a godlike method. Regardless, it still takes 4 years for the light from a supernova explosion to reach our solar system. Mirror said that the music of the sun is transmitted to the universe in the form of electromagnetic waves. So for this super civilization, the speed of light is equivalent to the speed of human sound, and light waves are their sound waves. So what is their light? People in the heavens and all worlds will never know. Mr. Mirror, are you a person or an entire civilization? What does the sentence "when civilization travels long enough in the air, both individuals and groups will disappear at the same time" mean? Dr. Octopus civilization is a whole, but after the end of progress and development, this whole is destined to become a concept. Civilization that has developed to a certain level may allow individuals to integrate into the group, organisms to merge with machines, and the group to integrate into the natural appearance of the universe, no longer retaining its own image, but reflecting the image of the universe. Mirror civilization. The mirror civilization tried its best to explain to the audiences in the heavens and all worlds. However, even if they tried hard to analyze what the mirror said, they could not get any answers. Low-dimensional creatures will never be able to understand the existence of high-dimensional creatures. However, soon, the problem that all the technological audiences in the world were looking forward to appeared. Mr. Mirror, what do you think about your ranking being only number 7? And what do you think of the outside world in different dimensions? Spider-Man Parker. Why are people in the science fiction world often looked down upon by people from other worlds? The root cause is that there are too few big names in science fiction civilization. Before this, the entire universe even regarded the so-called technology as just artillery shells and thermal weapons. Until the list of technological civilizations appeared and introduced the current mirror civilization. The audiences from all over the world have just begun to understand how grand science fiction civilization and the universe are. I am just a musician. This is the art I pursue. As for the universe, if I have the chance, I think I will represent the science fiction world and play an unforgettable piece of music for them. Mirror civilization. The mirror civilization ignores the world's demands. Because he is just a mirror, a musician, all he has to do is complete his art. But the last sentence still shows the mirror's position. This is the pattern of advanced civilization. For a moment, the sound of exclamation and amazement resounded throughout the heavens and the world, one after another. Then, the mirror sent another barrage of comments, stopping the noisy atmosphere in the heavens and all realms. Well, music is a wonderful art, and this concert is not over yet. I hope everyone can patiently enjoy it. Mirror civilization. It wasn't until the mirror spoke that the audience reacted. The mirror's concert has been going on for a long time in the video without anyone noticing. Its beauty seems to have been integrated into your life. If you don't appreciate it carefully, you won't even feel the existence of music. But it's always there, and it's so beautiful. At this time, the audience finally felt that the music had changed. The mirror begins by playing a distant and ethereal melody with a piano-like sound, and then repeats the theme with increasingly complex ensembles. Each repetition makes the theme more grandiose than the previous one. Like an illusion, it appears in the mind of every viewer in the heavenly world. A thinker stood on a small island, thinking about the universe with his deep mind. As the lens rises, the thinker gradually becomes smaller in the field of view of the lens. As the camera panned across the island from the air, the thinker disappeared like a speck of dust. The camera continues to rise, the island becomes smaller and smaller, the camera rises from the atmosphere, takes the entire planet into space, and the island disappears like a speck of dust. The camera in space continues to move away from the planet, bringing the entire galaxy into view. At this time, only the stars in the planetary system can be seen. It looks like a table lamp in a dark space, shining alone. And this planet with oceans disappeared like a speck of dust. The camera moves away at superluminal speed. People seemed to discover that the vast universe above their scale was a brilliant dust composed of stars on a larger scale. As the entire galaxy came into view, the star and the planet disappeared like a speck of dust. The camera then leaps across an unimaginable distance to bring a galaxy cluster into view. There is still a brilliant dust in front of us, but the particles of the dust are no longer stars, but star systems, which seem to be connected to the universe. Everything is destined to be like dust, surrounded by one thing after another. 040. The people on the lawn were immersed in the music again, and the music reached its climax. Driven by the musician's powerful thoughts, the lens of the universe was pushed beyond known time and space, and the entire universe was presented before people's eyes. The cluster of galaxies that contains the Milky Way also disappeared like a speck of dust. People were waiting for the ultimate arrival, but at this time, the magnificent ensemble suddenly disappeared. There was only a piano-like sound at the beginning. It sounds lonely, ethereal, and distant. It's like going back to the original thinkers. This kind of music not only shocked the audience, but also brought new understanding to people. Have you returned to the thinker on the island? Someone asked. No, the melody is completely different now. At this moment, the ensemble of the entire universe appeared again, and soon stopped to give way to the piano solo. These two melodies alternated over a long period of time. Someone listened to it and suddenly realized, the piano played the melody of the ensemble wrong. The president of country C nodded, or, this is the mirror image of the ensemble. Oh. The mirror of the universe, this is the mirror. The music was clearly coming to an end, and the entire cosmic ensemble and the piano solo were going on at the same time. The piano accurately inverts every part of the ensemble. Its image is convex against the background of the ensemble, but the two are so harmonious. The president of country C said, this reminds me of a modern school of architecture called the School of Light. In order to avoid the impact of the new building on the surrounding traditional environment, all surfaces of the building are made into mirrors, making it harmonious with the surrounding environment through reflection. At the same time, it also expresses itself in this way. Yes, when civilization reaches a certain level, it can also express its existence by reflecting the universe. The Secretary General said thoughtfully. At this moment, the piano suddenly changes from reverse to forward, so that it is immediately integrated into the cosmic ensemble. After a long piano sound, the sun music is over. At this moment, no matter whether it was the humans on Earth or the audience from all over the world, it seemed that they were unable to come back to their senses for a long time. The shock this concert brought them was beyond description. That kind of shock was not brought about by the simple crushing of technological technology. What this concert brings to the audience is more of a wonderful thought. If what marginal civilization brings to the audience is the integrity of race, what the three-body civilization brings to the audience is the evolution of civilization rising from extinction and revival. The singer civilization brings about a crushing victory in the technological dimension. Then the mirror civilization brought a truth to countless audiences. The universe is cold and cruel most of the time. To be precise, it doesn't matter. Take other civilizations for example. The higher the dimensionality of a civilization, the more different its behavior will be when facing things, wars, and resources. More advanced civilizations have no concept of this at all. The revival and rise of all things seem to have no meaning in the mirror civilization. As a powerful civilization that clearly surpasses the singer and even marginal civilizations, the mirror civilization undoubtedly possesses the power of God. Detonate supernovas, play stars, and jump through time and space. These are almost methods that only gods can do. But the mirror civilization is not a cold and heartless civilization. It likes to share and appreciate everything. Higher civilizations are willing to share their beauty with lower civilizations, and are also willing to help lower civilizations show their own beauty. Whether it is the marginal civilization, the singer civilization or the three-body civilization, these are things that the audiences in all the heavens and worlds have never seen. It is like a cosmic musician, playing music that no one else is playing or singing in every corner of the universe. In this cold universe, the appearance of the mirror is undoubtedly very warm. The concert is over, leaving the audience from all over the world with endless thoughts. However, the video is not over yet. At the end of the video, the voice of the mirror resounds in the ears of humans on Earth. The mirror said, a perfect concert. Thanks to everyone who enjoyed it. Well, I have to go now. Wait a moment, the president shouted, we have one last request, can you use the sun to play the music of mankind? Yes, I'd love to. Which one? The presidents looked at each other. Play Beethoven's Fate, said the Prime Minister of Country M. No, this should not be Fate, said the President of Country A, shaking his head. It has now been proven that humans cannot control the throat of fate. The value of human beings lies in, we know that fate is irresistible and death must be the final winner, but we can still devote ourselves to creating a better life within a limited time. Then let's sing Ode to Joy, said the President of Country C. The mirror said, sing it. I can transmit this song to the universe through the sun. I promise that it will sound good. On the lawn, more than 200 people sang Ode to Joy, and the song was transmitted to the sun through the mirror. The sun vibrated again, and with a powerful electromagnetic pulse it spread the song into all directions of space. The goddess of joy is holy and beautiful, brilliant light shines on the earth, we are passionate, come to your temple, your power can make people eliminate all traces under your shining light, people united as brothers. In 5 hours, the song will fly out of the solar system. 4 years later, the song will reach Sagittarius. 100,000 years from now, this song will spread throughout the galaxy. In more than 200,000 years, the song will reach the nearest star system, the Large Magellanic Cloud. 6 million years later, the song will have spread to more than 40 star systems in our galaxy cluster. In 100 million years, the song will have spread to more than 50 galaxies in this supercluster. 15 billion years from now, the song will have spread throughout the known universe and into the ever-expanding universe. If the universe is still expanding. In the eternal nature, joy is a strong spring, in the great cosmic clock, it is joy that drives the pointer to spin. It makes the budding flowers bloom, it makes the sun shine brightly in the sky. Even a telescope can't see. It also keeps the celestial bodies rotating. The mirror flies away from the sun at the speed of light, knowing that it will never come back. In its billion-year career as a musician, it has never played the same star twice. Like human shepherds, they never throw the same stone twice. During the flight, he listened to the lingering sound of Ode to Joy, and an imperceptible ripple appeared on the eternally calm mirror. Yeah, it's a good song. 041. At this point, the video ends completely. People in all the heavens and worlds were still immersed in the last song of Ode to Joy sung by the mirror. Compared to the wonderful concert created by mirror, this music can be appreciated by more audiences. A higher civilization is willing to listen to the opinions of a lower civilization and play the music of a lower civilization. In this universe, the mirror civilization is undoubtedly an outstanding musician in the universe. Although it is ranked only 7th, for the audience in all the heavens and worlds, the mirror civilization surpasses all previous civilizations in terms of both technological power and the strength of civilization. It seems that the first 3 civilizations at the beginning were just side dishes to fill the audience's stomach. The emergence of the mirror civilization is the mysterious delicacy that opens up the advanced civilization to all the heavens and worlds. Advanced civilizations are mysterious and difficult to observe. If it weren't for the inventory video on the Universe Network, no one could imagine that in the universe, there is such an amazing technological civilization as the mirror civilization. The existence of the network of all heavens and all worlds has indeed greatly facilitated barrier-free communication among people from all over the world, and they can also learn about the existence of other worlds through the network of all heavens and all worlds. As for who created the cosmic web of the heavens and what its purpose is, no one in the heavens and the worlds knows. Some people suspect that perhaps the universe network was also created by some advanced civilization, or even most likely a civilization that surpassed the god level. However, secrets that are too high level cannot be observed by everyone. At this time, in the Marvel universe, above Saturn's satellite Titan, Thanos sat inside the battleship, the beautiful music played by the sun just now still lingering in his mind. It's really so shocking. If the war between the Singer civilization and the marginal civilization only made Thanos feel the gap in combat power, then, the mirror civilization is a pattern and realm in which higher dimensional creatures completely crush lower dimensional creatures. Thanos can say this without any pretense. In the universe where he lives, his strength is incomparably powerful even in the entire universe. But compared with the mirror civilization, his strength is simply useless. This can no longer be compared in terms of grade, this is a gap in realm and pattern. While Thanos was still considering how to exterminate half of all life in the universe to balance the resources of the universe, more powerful civilizations have long since abandoned the concept of resources, and have taken the pursuit of art as their pinnacle. The moment the mirror civilization appeared, this powerful civilization completely conquered Thanos himself. Macro, great. The universe where the mirror civilization exists must be much more massive than the universe where I exist. At this moment, this thought emerged in Thanos' mind. Long before, when the video was playing the marginal civilization, Thanos had already come up with this idea. In the universe where he lives, there are no existences like the Edge civilization and the Singer civilization. Perhaps he has not yet fully explored the universe, but even so, races from marginal civilizations should not reasonably appear in this universe. How could there be such an inorganic creature with such strong vitality that does not eat or drink in the universe? Even more tenacious than Thanos. Moreover, the mass of the marginal universe where the marginal civilization is located seems to be obviously 100 times stronger than the mass of the universe in which they are located. Even he would be torn into pieces in the turbulence of the universe. Therefore, as early as when the video of the marginal civilization was played, Thanos had already come to a conclusion. The universe is not unique but diverse. If we have to classify the universe into a certain category, the universe I live in should be an independent universe that is not detached from other worlds. It's not that we are too weak to make the list. It's that the universe outside is too powerful. After the emergence of the mirror civilization, Thanos finally made his point clear. His vision is no longer limited to the universe he is in, but he has cast his eyes on the multiverse outside the universe. There are other civilizations, races, and different planets. Maybe even the resources are different. There are so many people in the network of all heavens and worlds, but why has he only seen a handful of them? It turns out that it's not just the primitive world and the fantasy world that have a dimensional barrier that isolates them. Even between universes there are different cosmic spaces. At this moment, Thanos actually understood a lot. He is like a transcendent person standing outside the universe, looking at the current problems of the universe from a perspective beyond the universe. So he found an answer. Since there are no more extra resources in the universe, why don't they try to break through the barrier of the multiverse and go to another universe to explore and discover planets and universes that have never been explored in the universe? Moreover, this is a plan that is very worth implementing. Just take the statements of human civilizations in other universes. They have never discovered aliens in their own universe. Perhaps that piece of the universe is a universe that has never been explored or developed at all. It turns out that Thanos' mind has risen. He no longer thought about how to exterminate half of all life in the universe. Thanos' gaze is even further away. He wants to break the barrier of the multiverse and develop resources from other universes. Become an invader of the multiverse. And at the same time, Super God Universe. City of Angels. As the most powerful angel civilization in the entire universe, the angels have been extremely panicked recently. As the most powerful civilization in the universe, they can't even make it onto the list. It was not until they saw the technology of those powerful civilizations on the list that the angels gradually understood everything. Their angel civilization is really too weak. The racial black hole dimensionality reduction attack capability of the marginal civilization, and the two-dimensional foil of the Singer civilization. Even the intelligent sun project of the three-body civilization is enough to completely defeat the angel civilization. In comparison, the angelic civilization seemed no different from a group of aged sapiens wielding flaming swords. Keisha was very unhappy, but there was nothing she could do about it. In the past, the universe she saw was too small, so her vision was as narrow as the universe she knew. Maybe she really misunderstood Morgana. We are still too weak in the face of other civilizations. But, how can we enhance the power of civilization? 042. Holy Keisha deeply understood that the angel civilization she belonged to was extremely weak compared to the major advanced civilizations in the heavens and all realms. Both the Singer civilization and the marginal civilization possess star-level warships. The water droplets of the three-body civilization are even more astonishingly precise. Any one of these technologies is beyond the capability of the current angel civilization to withstand. Not to mention making these technologies. The number of star-class battleships, even if they are only used to provide energy, is astonishing. Not to mention the Singer civilization's attack that was powerful enough to penetrate the galaxy, which required even more outrageous energy. What the City of Angels lacks most right now is energy. If the energy problem is not solved, it will be impossible to break through the power of civilization in these warships. As for the water droplets of the Trisolarian civilization, where can we find such a fine material? How can we make it? None of this was demonstrated in the video. As one of the most powerful beings in the universe, Holy Keisha would naturally not only be shocked by the power of these civilizations after watching the video. Through her powerful analytical ability, Holy Keisha still learned some of the strengths of these civilizations. Such as, the two-dimensional foil of the Singer civilization. She clearly realized that the two-dimensional foil of the Singer civilization was an extremely powerful technology, but in the hands of the Singer civilization, the two-dimensional foil was just a relatively simple technology. The Singer creatures regard the two-dimensional foil as a cleaning technology, and only use the two-dimensional foil as a means of attack when necessary, such as the threat of marginal civilizations. The concept of the two-dimensional foil is to shrink one of the dimensions of the three-dimensional universe from the macroscopic to the microscopic, thereby forcing the three-dimensional universe and all the matter in it to collapse into the two-dimensional universe. As long as you understand this concept, you can use it to reversely calculate the production of two-dimensional foil. And once we talk about concepts related to dimensions, Holy Keisha couldn't help but think of that existence. The ultimate fear. It is an existence that has not yet been confirmed, but has always been feared by angel civilization. It is a void land, a world completely opposite to the real world. At the same time, it is definitely a high-dimensional civilization that is completely incomprehensible in the universe. If we can thoroughly study the ultimate fear, perhaps we can create a two-dimensional foil based on the concept of ultimate fear. Holy Keisha really wants to create the two-dimensional foil, because once the technology like the two-dimensional foil is created, it means that the angel civilization will never be as passive as it is now. Although the angel civilization is still the top civilization in the universe on the surface, everyone knows it. The angel civilization at this time no longer has the glory it once had. When countless civilizations appeared in the heavens and all realms, they shocked the eyes of various civilizations. Nowadays, there are no longer many civilizations that completely respect angel civilization. The most important thing is the ultimate fear that has not yet been confirmed. Holy Keisha doesn't disbelieve the existence of ultimate fear, she just doesn't dare to believe it and can't believe it. This is because, once it is proven that that piece of void land exists, if the void theory is truly established, then all the knowledge of the main biological world currently possessed by all people in the main biological world will be incomplete or even wrong. That means that the current theory of conservation of energy in the world will be overturned. This will be a heavy blow to all civilizations in the world today. Therefore, Holy Keisha is trying her best to maintain the balance where the ultimate fear does not exist in order to dispel the worries of various civilizations. But the inventory of the network of all heavens and worlds instantly broke this balance. If the higher dimensional universe exists, then the ultimate fear that has not yet been confirmed naturally exists as well. Holy Keisha sighed and shook her head depressedly. Now, Carl and Morgana must have been laughing secretly for a long time. Her sister, Liang Bing. Ever since the two had a disagreement, Liang Bing changed her name to Morgana and developed her own demon civilization. If it was her, she would definitely have a better understanding of the ultimate fear. Although Holy Keisha did not deny the existence of void matter, Liang Bing's understanding of the void was definitely better. Want to go find her? If you want to research the technology of two-dimensional foil, it seems that this is the only way to go. In fact, Holy Keisha also has her own pride. By studying the ultimate void and reversely deducing dimensional technology, Holy Keisha believes that as long as there is enough time, the angel civilization will be able to do it sooner or later. But it just so happens that what Holy Keisha lacks most is time. Yan. Holy Keisha sat on the throne and read out the name of an angel in a gentle voice. The beautiful angel instantly appeared in front of Holy Keisha, kneeling on one knee, with an expression so cold that there was no expression at all. At this time, Holy Keisha also issued her own orders. Take the angels to the Demon Nebula and bring Morgana back to me. Yes, Your Majesty. Angel Yan accepted the order and stood up to leave. Clean and neat. Looking at the departing back of Angel Yan, a hint of tenderness flashed in Holy Keisha's eyes. Yan, her favorite child. If she unfortunately passes away, the position of Skyblade King will be hers. But Yan is not able to do that now, her strength is not enough to bear all this. After that, Keisha closed her eyes. Just let me take care of it all first. At the same time, that familiar voice resounded in my mind. Inventory of science fiction civilizations in the universe, the top 10 most perverted science fiction civilizations. 6. Low temperature artist. 043. Cryogenic artist civilization? What kind of civilization is this? At this moment, all the viewers from all over the world who were watching the live video broadcast room felt curious. The Mirror Civilization is a civilization of musicians who like to share and claim to have no individual groups. And this civilization sounds like an artist like the Mirror Civilization. Will it be as powerful and graceful as an artist? The technological civilization side has even more expectations. The shock that the Mirror Civilization brought to them was already great enough, and it was even a technology that was enough to move the monks of the primitive and fantasy worlds. Will the 6th-ranked cryogenic artist civilization be even more powerful and shocking? I'm already looking forward to the civilizational power of the cryogenic artist. He will surely bring me more shocks. Tony Stark to be ranked above the Mirror Civilization, the cryo artist must be more powerful than the Mirror Civilization. Oh my god, I don't even dare to think about going higher than that. Spider Parker, if I hadn't watched the live broadcast, I would have no idea that there are so many powerful civilizations in the universe. I suddenly feel that the world I live in is really small. Zhang Hulan. It is normal to have such thoughts. Anyone is small and insignificant in the face of the vastness of the universe. Pluto. Here it comes. Will the low-temperature artist civilization also play the sun like a mirror? Big Xiao, I admit that the Mirror Civilization is powerful, but it is still not enough in front of my son Wangteng. I hope the cryogenic artist will give me a surprise. My son Wangteng has the potential to be an emperor. It may happen that your son is useless in front of art. Cryogenic artist, oh my god. The 6th-ranked boss showed up on his own initiative. Haha, what a hot temper. I've disliked his son Wangteng for a long time. Good scolding. Hong Wang Dapen Humph, you don't understand how powerful my son Wangteng is. Cryogenic artist, I will wait and see your power. My son Wangteng has the potential to be an emperor. Just when the argument started in the barrage. The video is also loading gradually. In the blink of an eye, all the audience were immersed in the video and experienced it. As soon as they entered, the audience felt as if they were in a world of ice and snow. The cold is oppressive. This is not any corner of the universe, and most viewers quickly recognize where this place is. This place is another Earth. Although it is not known what the difference is between this place and the Earth where the previous Mirror Civilization was located, it is obviously the winter season on Earth. Because several humans who have kept their bodies completely warm are surrounding countless crystallized sculptures, admiring this sculptural art. Looking further away, tall buildings made of ice stand on the snowfield. These crystal skyscrapers and castles are soaked in the winter sunshine. This is the shortest-lived work of art. Soon, this crystal world will turn into a pool of clear water in the spring breeze. Until the audience's attention turned to a person. They felt as if they had become this person, using this human body and perspective to experience this grand ice sculpture art festival. In the conscious act of the video, the audience recognizes the name of the person they are possessed by. His name is Yan Dong. As his name suggests, he likes winter, and especially the art created by ice and snow. The exquisite ice sculptures around were all made by him. He didn't know that the jury would not like these works. For Yan Dong, if these works did not win the award, then they would have no other meaning in the cold. However, Yan Dong does not like sculpture for the pleasure of winning awards. He felt that while waiting for spring, the melting process of the ice sculptures not only brought a hint of sadness, but also contained more unclear things. This may be the real reason why Yan Dong is fascinated by ice and snow art. Look, what is that? Suddenly, someone pointed to the sky and shouted. Yan Dong also looked up at the sky. From Yan Dong's perspective, the audience also saw strange shadows. At first, Yan Dong thought it was a white-tailed plane, but the flying object was much faster than the plane. It made a big turn in the air, and its contrail drew a hook casually in the blue sky like a huge piece of chalk. At the end of the hook, the flying object stopped, just above Yan Dong Zheng. The trace gradually disappeared from the back to the front, as if it was sucked back by the releaser. Yan Dong carefully observed the last point of the trail and found brief flashes from time to time. He quickly determined that the flash was sunlight reflecting off an object. Then he saw the object. It was a small gray and white sphere. Soon he realized that the sphere was not small. Because of the distance, it looks small. It is expanding rapidly. Yan Dong quickly realized that the sphere had fallen from a high altitude to where he was standing. The people around him also realized this. People fled in all directions. Yan Dong also lowered his head and ran away. He turned around in the ice sculpture. Suddenly, the ground was shrouded in a huge shadow. Yan Dong's scalp tensed and his blood seemed to freeze for a moment. The audience even closed their eyes. The immersive effect was so strong that it felt like they were experiencing the disaster in person. But the expected blow did not come. Yan Dong found that the people around him were also standing still, and looked up blankly. He also looked up and saw a huge sphere hanging about 100 meters above them. It is not a complete sphere. It seemed to be distorted by the influence of air currents in high-speed flight. The half facing the direction of flight is a smooth sphere, while the other half has a bunch of huge burrs, making it look like a comet with a shortened tail. It was very large, apparently exceeding 100 meters in diameter. It is like a small hill suspended in mid-air, making people on the ground feel a huge sense of oppression. He raised his head and looked closely at the surface of the sphere. The translucent grayish-white material was familiar to him. Ice. Suspended in midair is a large ice ball. At the same time, the audiences in all the heavens and worlds also heard the omniscient and omnipotent voice in the video that was responsible for explaining everything. 6. Artists of cryogenic sculptures, cryogenic artist civilization. At this time, the audience all realized it. This huge ice ball. It is the 6th ranked low temperature artist civilization. 044. In fact, audiences have seen many strange civilizations. Whether it is the Trisolarans or the Singers, they seem to be different from the images with human form as the theme in the heavens in all realms. The marginal civilizations are even more outrageous. They are a group of inorganic creatures made of stone. The mirror civilization is a mirror that is larger than the sun. This mirror is large enough to isolate the left and right sides of the universe and block the cognition of the left and right sides of the mirror. So in fact, the cryogenic artist appeared in the audience's sight as an ice ball, which did not make them feel curious or surprised. The audience just wanted to know how powerful this cosmic civilization that ranked 6th was. What amazing means does it possess? At this moment, the omniscient and omnipotent voice of the world sounded. 6 low temperature artist reason for being on the list. One of the civilizations that has achieved pure energy, possesses supertime and space jump technology that can cross the universe, can freely travel through any dimension that exists in the universe, possesses sophisticated technology that can completely condense civilization into matter, possesses technology to molecule, extract and transform molecular matter, and can completely cut off a planet's resource acquisition as one of the civilizations that is also pure energy. The cryogenic artist is a more substantial existence than the mirror. This is reflected in its shape. The ice ball shape that completely materializes itself allows the cryogenic artist to be touched, but in fact he is condensed from the purest molecules. Similarly, low-temperature artists have no concept of collective and individual. It is also a manifestation of civilization. After hearing the narration's explanation, the audience seemed to have a vague understanding of it. Compared with the mirror civilization, the pure energy of cryogenic artists may be more pure, because it is a real civilization that can be touched. Moreover, cryogenic artists are not divided into groups or individuals. After seeing the cryogenic artists, more viewers seemed to gradually understand what the mirror civilization said. When civilization develops to a certain level, both individuals and collectives will disappear at the same time. The emergence of cryogenic artists seems to confirm this theory. Of course, what shocked the audience the most was the ability of the cryogenic artist. To be precise, this is its technology. Extracting molecular matter. Why do I feel like the higher a civilization ranks, the more difficult it is for me to understand? Tony Stark. We are low-dimensional creatures. In the eyes of these advanced civilizations, we are just bugs. Forget it. We simply cannot understand how powerful they are. Spider-Man Parker. My grandpa can understand. He is the most powerful scientist in the world, no, in the entire universe. Rick Kid, your blind confidence amuses me, but it's not a bad thing. At least I hope the grandpa you mentioned can really do it. Dr. Octopus severing molecules? What is that? It sounds like it's not as powerful as a mirror. Yung Xiao, indeed, it doesn't sound like a big deal. Hong Wang Daipen, my son Wang Teng has the potential to be an emperor. A mere cryogenic artist is nothing to be afraid of. My son Wang Teng has the potential to be an emperor. Having the technology to molecularize, extract, and transform molecular matter may not sound surprising. Whether it was the mirror civilization playing the sun in exploding supernovas, or the black hole dimensionality reduction technology of the marginal civilization, they all seem to sound much more powerful than the cryogenic artist. But, what if this concept of a cryogenic artist can extract the molecular matter of the sun? What would happen if we even cut off the matter of the black hole? If cryogenic artists can really do it, then the sun will no longer be the sun. Cryogenic artists only need to completely extract a molecular substance contained in the sun to make the sun never burn again. And if you evacuate the black hole, it may be nowhere to hide. Based on this alone, the strength of the cryogenic artist is qualified to surpass the mirror civilization and become the well-deserved 6th place. Can cryogenic artists achieve this? It certainly can. Otherwise, the low-temperature artist would not be able to pass the ranking and stand at the 6th position. It's a pity that, except for the audience on the technological side, it seems that most of the prehistoric monks cannot understand the abilities of cryogenic artists. But the audience on the technology side is not in a hurry. The video will gradually answer everything for them. The air gradually calmed down, and the audience once again entered Yan Dong's perspective. Winter was surprised to find snowflakes floating in the air around a huge ball of ice. The snowflakes are big. They look white against the blue sky and sparkle in the sun. However, these snowflakes only appear within a certain distance from the surface of the sphere, and disappear immediately after floating out of that distance, forming a snow circle centered on the sphere. It is like a street lamp on a snowy night, illuminating the snowflakes around it. I'm an artist. A clear male voice came from the ice hockey. I'm a cryogenic artist. Is this big ice ball your body? Yan Dong raised his head and asked loudly. You can't see my image. The ice balls you see are formed from water in the air that froze in my refrigerator, the artist replied. What are those snowflakes? Yan Dong asked again. It's a crystallization of dry ice formed from oxygen and nitrogen in the air and carbon dioxide. Your freezer looks really good. Of course, just like countless little hands holding countless little hearts, it can stop all molecules and atoms within its range. Can it still hold such a large block of ice in the air? This is another kind of field, an anti-gravity field. It's really interesting what a set of ice sculpting tools each of you used, said the cryogenic artist. That ice carving kit is really fun. There are little spatulas and knives in various shapes, as well as a kettle and a blowtorch. It's really fun. For making cryogenic art, I also have a small set of tools, which are just a few force fields. Not as many as yours, but they're just as easy to use. Do you also create ice sculptures? Of course, I'm a cryogenic artist. In the cold winter, the cryogenic artist said. So. 045. Another high-dimensional civilization attracted by some kind of art. At this moment, while all the heavens and worlds were amazed at these civilizations, they also had to admire the art of Earth culture. The music of the Earthlings attracted the Mirror civilization, and their sculpture art attracted cryogenic artists. Yes, the audience can be absolutely sure that it was this ice and snow art festival that attracted the cryogenic artists. It was as if this cryogenic artist had met a like-minded person who shared the same hobby and loved ice sculptures. Although the technology of Earth civilization is slightly lacking, it seems to still have a very high status in the field of culture. Why did the audience of the universe come to such a conclusion? Because this is illustrated by the cryogenic artist himself. Your world is very suitable for ice and snow art. I was surprised to find that this kind of art already exists in this world. I am happy to say that we are in the same industry. If a higher civilization says this to a lower civilization, it is tantamount to an excellent evaluation of the lower civilization. The cryogenic artist's words also made some viewers who also had Earth feel very good. It has to be said that there are too many Earth civilizations in the world. These Earth civilization viewers do not exist in the same universe. If a civilization on the spur of the moment wanted to study Earth civilization as it exists in the celestial astronomical network, it might find something surprising. As for now, people's attention is completely focused on this video. The audience is waiting to see what kind of surprises this cryogenic artist can bring them. In the video, someone took the initiative to ask about the situation of the big ice ball. Where are you from? He asked. I come from a faraway world that you cannot understand. This world is far less interesting than your world. The cryogenic artist says so. Originally, I was only engaged in art and had no connection with the rest of the world, but when I saw such an exhibition and so many colleagues, I had the desire to communicate. But frankly, there aren't many true works of art among these cryogenic works. It is very interesting for a high-dimensional civilization to call the world a low-dimensional civilization, and this is undoubtedly a compliment. But artists are artists after all. He has his own standard view of art. Why do you say that? Someone asked him why. Too realistic, too rigid in shape and detail. When you realize that the universe is just space, and the whole real world is just a lot of space with different curvatures, you can see how ridiculous these works are. But, okay, this one still makes me feel a little bit. As the sound fell, a thin strand of snow around the ice seemed to flow down an invisible funnel. A wisp of snow disappeared from midair at the top of Yandong's ice sculpture. Yandong stood on tiptoe and tentatively extended his gloved hand toward the wisp of snow. Closer to a wisp of snow, his fingers felt warm again. He hurried back, his hands frozen in his gloves. Because the audience was experiencing it from Yandong's perspective, they felt as if their hands were also touching the snowflake and were frozen. Being in the video, you can even experience this cold feeling in person. This new experience brought to the audience is undoubtedly a surprise. Are you talking about my work? Yandong rubbed his frozen hand with his other hand and said, I did not use the traditional method, that is, sculpting with ready-made ice, but built a structure composed of several large films. Under this structure, the steam generated by boiling water will rise for a long time. The steam freezes on the surface of the film to form a complex crystal. When this crystal reaches a certain thickness, its film is removed, allowing you to see the shape now. Nice, feels good, reflects the beauty of cold. This piece was inspired by. From the window glass. I wonder if you can understand my description. When you wake up in the early morning of a cold winter, you can see that the window glass is covered with ice crystals. They reflect the deep blue light of the morning, as if they are the product of your dreams overnight. I understand, I understand. The snowflakes around the cryogenic artist danced happily. I am also inspired. I want to create. I must create. At this moment, the cryogenic artist is like a child who can't resist the burst of creativity. His puck body is always moving. As the ice ball swayed, snowflakes seemed to fall from the sky. The severe winter wants to stabilize the low-temperature artist. That direction is the Songhua River. You can get a piece of ice, or... What? You think a cryogenic artist like me would work on your pathetic bacterial art? I don't need ice material. The human ice sculptors on the ground are staring blankly at the cryogenic artists from the stars. Even audiences from all walks of life are curious. What does this higher being want to do? Yandong said blankly, okay, you are going to. The cryogenic artist's snowflakes drift toward the sea. Perhaps in the eyes of a cryogenic artist, only a place as big as the ocean is large enough to produce the ice he wants. He said. I'm going to the ocean. 046. In the sky, a huge fleet of aircraft flew towards the coastline at an altitude of 5,000 meters. This was the most complex fleet in history. It consists of a variety of aircraft, from huge Boeing giants to mosquito-sized light aircraft. This is an interview aircraft sent by major news agencies around the world, and also an observation and surveillance aircraft sent by research institutions and governments. The noisy planes flew along a short, thick white runway ahead, like a flock of sheep chasing a shepherd. This trail was left by the cryogenic artist during flight. It kept urging the plane behind it to speed up. To wait for them, it must endure moving slower than a crawl. To him, the speed of light is equivalent to crawling, because it can make arbitrary jumps in time and space. It kills my inspiration, the cryo artist kept saying. The cryogenic artist is like an anxious child constantly urging the plane. This gave audiences around the world an indescribable and unclear feeling. But it feels like they haven't figured out what's going on yet. The cryogenic artist didn't bother to answer endless questions from reporters at the back of the plane over the radio. He was only interested in Yan Dong, who was sitting on the Cloud 12 rented by CCTV. So later, the reporters stopped talking and just listened attentively to the conversation between the two artists. Is your hometown in the Milky Way? Yan Dong asked. The Cloud 12 is the closest aircraft to a cryogenic artist. The flying puck can be seen looming over the top of the white runway. The trail is formed by the super-cold condensation of oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere around the ice ball. Sometimes the plane accidentally enters the rolling white fog, and the windows are immediately covered with a thick layer of white frost. This question is also of interest to audiences from all over the world. Where do these powerful and advanced civilizations live? Finally, the cryogenic artist gave the answer. My homeworld is not part of any star system. It is located in the vast dark space between galaxies. Your planet must be very cold. We have no planets. Cryogenic civilizations originated from a mass of dark matter. The world there is really cold. Life is struggling to get microheat from an environment close to absolute zero and absorbs all the radiation from distant galaxies. When the cryogenic civilization learned to walk, we couldn't wait to enter the warm world of the Milky Way. In this world, we must keep low temperature to survive, so we became cryogenic artists in a warm world. What the artist said was very abstract, but audiences from all walks of life still had some understanding. Cryogenic artists have never lived on any planet. They are like creatures born from the universe and learn to walk. However, once this civilization is born, it will have capabilities and technologies that surpass other civilizations. Are you talking about the ice and snow shape? Yan Dong continued to ask. Oh, no. Using low temperatures far below the world's average temperature to interact with the world creates an artistic effect, which is low-temperature art. Ice and snow sculptures are just a kind of low-temperature art suitable for your world. The temperature of ice and snow belongs to the low temperature of your world, but in the dark matter world, it is high temperature, and in the star world, molten magma is also a low-temperature substance. We seem to have something in common regarding the beauty of art. Not surprisingly, the so-called warmth is only a short-term effect of a brief spasm after the birth of the universe. It will be as fleeting as the twilight after sunset, and the energy will disappear. Only the cold is eternal, and the beauty of cold is eternal beauty. So, the universe will eventually heat up. Yan Dong heard someone ask in the headset. Later, he learned that he was a theoretical physicist sitting on the back plane. Don't get off topic, let's just talk about art. The artist said coldly. The man drew his head back, and the artist stopped answering any more questions. But the words of the cryogenic artist still leave an answer in people's hearts. There's the sea below. Yan Dong inadvertently looked down from the porthole and saw the curved coastline moving slowly below. Further, we will go to the deepest oceans, where ice is easily accessible. But where is the ice? Yan Dong asked puzzledly, looking at the blue sea below. Wherever artists go, there is ice. The cryo artist flew forward for more than an hour. Yan Dong looked down from the plane. There is already a vast ocean below. At this moment, the plane suddenly stopped. Being overweight caused Yan Dong's eyes to turn black. Oh my god, we almost hit it, the pilot shouted. It turned out that the cryogenic artist suddenly stopped and the plane behind him suddenly turned. At this time, everyone realized it. The law of inertia has no effect on this cryogenic artist, and its speed seems to drop to zero in an instant. It stands to reason that at such a high speed, such a deceleration would have been enough to tear the ice ball into pieces. At this time, the plane turned its nose and circled around the ice ball hanging in the air with other planes. The static ice ball produces a large amount of oxygen and nitrogen snowflakes in the air, but due to the strong wind at high altitude, the snowflakes are blown in one direction, just like the white hair of the ice ball dancing in the wind. I'm going to start creating, said the cryogenic artist, and before Yan Dong could answer, it suddenly fell vertically, as if the invisible giant hand holding the air suddenly loosened. The people on the plane watched it fall freely faster and faster, and soon disappeared against the blue ocean background. They could only vaguely see traces of atomization in the air. Soon, white waves appeared on the sea. After the waves disappeared, a circle of ripples began to spread. The alien committed suicide by jumping into the river. Such thoughts can't help but arise in people's minds. But whether it was Yan Dong or the countless audiences in the heavens in all realms, they all knew it well. Cryo artists are definitely not something they can comprehend. What he was about to do must be even more shocking. At this time, a white dot appeared on the sea surface where the ice ball entered the sea, and soon expanded into a white circular area. At this time, Yan Dong heard a loud noise, like continuous thunder, and like the earth and mountains being shattered. The sound came from the sea, masking the roar of the engine. When the plane flew close to the sea, Yan Dong looked down carefully at the sea under the white fog. First, people discovered that the sunlight reflected from the sea was very complete and soft, not as dazzling as the gold that had just been broken. Then he watched as the water darkened and the waves on the surface smoothed out, but what really shocked him was his next discovery: the waves were stationary. Yan Dong, who had dealt with ice countless times, was stunned on the plane. Only one thought arose in my mind. The sea is frozen. 047. At this moment, all the audiences in the heavens and the world saw this shocking scene just like Yan Dong. The sea is frozen. Although it was just a frozen corner, viewers were shocked when they saw that the waves on the sea surface no longer moved. Just like going back to the ancient ice age. Oh my god, the sea water is frozen. Yan Dong exclaimed. Are you crazy? The pilot said to Yan Dong. Take a closer look at yourself. I say, why are you still descending? Do you want to land on ice? The pilot pulled the joystick hard, and Yan Dong's eyes darkened again. He heard him say, oh, no, shit, this is really weird. Looking at him again, with a sleepwalking expression, I am not falling. The sea, oh no, the ice, is rising. Everyone noticed all this. It wasn't the plane that was falling, but the huge ice that was rising. At this time, they heard the voice of the cryogenic artist, get out of the way. Humph, if there's no one on the plane with you, I don't care at all. I hate things that interfere with my creative inspiration. Fly west, that side is closer to the edge. Edge? Edge of what? Yan Dong asked puzzledly. I harvested the ice. All the planes, like a flock of frightened birds, climbed high and flew in the direction indicated by the artist. Below them, the white mist caused by the sudden drop in temperature disappeared, and the deep blue ice sheet was endless. Even though the plane was climbing, the ice sheet was rising faster, so the plane was still losing altitude relative to the ice surface. God, the Earth is chasing us, the pilot shouted. Gradually, the plane flew closer to the ice surface again, and solidified dark blue waves rolled under the wings. This makes it impossible for aircraft to land on the huge ice mass only from the sky. The feeling of climbing and landing is strange to anyone. Just then, the plane reached the end of the ice. A straight edge flew out from under the fuselage, and the glittering liquid ocean appeared below. This situation is very similar to the situation of a fighter jet jumping out of the deck of an aircraft carrier during takeoff, but the aircraft carrier behind is several thousand meters high. Yin Xueji looked back and saw a huge dark blue cliff receding. The face of the cliff is very flat, extending all the way to both ends. For a moment, he couldn't see the end. The lower part of the cliff is connected to the sea, and you can see the white edge formed by the waves. The feeling of this visual feast is undoubtedly extremely shocking. But a few seconds after Yan Dong saw it, the white edge suddenly disappeared, replaced by another straight edge. The bottom of the big ice block had left the sea. The large ice sheet is rising faster and faster, while Cloud 12 is descending at the same time. Its altitude soon became somewhere between the surface of the sea and the ice in the air. At this time, viewers from all over the world saw another huge ice sheet. The difference from before was that it seemed to form a very depressing dark sky above. As the great ice sheet continued to rise, Yan Dong eventually visually confirmed what the cryogenic artist had said. This is indeed a large piece of ice in a regular rectangular shape. Now, it can be seen from the air. The dark blue rectangle occupies 2/3 of the sky. Its flat surface occasionally reflects sunlight, like dazzling flashes in the air. In front of the huge background formed by it, there are several planes crawling slowly, like birds circling around a skyscraper. You can only see them if you look carefully. As the ice block continues to rise, its volume in the air gradually decreases. In the end, it was psychologically acceptable. At the same time, its huge shadow is moving on the sea, showing the most terrifying scene in the history of the ocean. Yan Dong saw that they were flying over a long and narrow basin, which was the space left in the sea after the big ice block left. The basin is surrounded by high mountains and the sea level is as high as 5,000 meters. Humanity has never seen water form structures like this, it formed cliffs thousands of meters high. At the same time, some of the audience members who were not familiar with the scene were almost shocked to faint. What kind of method can be used to achieve such neatness? No. They should ask how the cryogenic artist managed to freeze a whole piece of the ocean. Extract molecules and change the mass of substances. Could it be that the cryogenic artist directly changed the quality of the sea into a cryogenic environment? People don't know. Now they can only watch this visual liquid cliff. The bottom of this liquid cliff was rolling up huge waves hundreds of meters high, and the upper part was constantly collapsing. The cliff was pushing forward in the collapse, and its surface was undulating, but it generally remained vertical to the seabed. As the sea cliffs advance, the basin is shrinking. This is Moses' reversal of the Red Sea. What shocked Yan Dong the most was that the whole process was actually very slow. This was obviously due to the scale. He had seen the Huangguosha waterfall and felt that the waterfall also fell very slowly. The sea cliff in front of him was 2 orders of magnitude larger than the waterfall, which gave him plenty of time to appreciate the magnificent view. At this time, the shadow on the ice had completely disappeared. Yan Dong looked up and saw that the ice was only as big as 2 moons and was not very conspicuous in the sky. As the sea cliffs advanced, the basin narrowed into a canyon. Then, 2 sea cliffs, tens of kilometers long and 5 kilometers high, collided head-on. A dull roar echoed between the sea and the sky for a long time, and the space left by the ice in the ocean completely disappeared. We are not dreaming, are we? Yan Dong said to himself. I hope it's just a dream, see for yourself, the pilot pointed down. Where the 2 cliffs collided, the sea water was not calm, but there were 2 wave bands as long as the cliffs, as if they were the incarnation of 2 disappearing cliffs on the sea, which were separated in opposite directions. The wave fields were unsurprising when viewed from the air, but careful visual inspection showed they were more than 200 meters high. If you look closely, they must look like 2 moving mountains. Tsunami? Yan Dong asked. Yes, this could be the biggest in history. Every coast will be affected. Yan Dong raised his head again. There is no ice in the blue sky. According to radar observations, it has become an icy satellite of the Earth. On this day, cryogenic artists removed hundreds of similarly sized blocks of ice from the Pacific Ocean in the same manner and sent them into orbit around the Earth. On this day, in the night hemisphere, a group of twinkling points of light can be seen flying across the night sky every 2 or 3 hours. Unlike the stars in the background, each bright point can be seen to have a shape if you look closely. It is a small cuboid. They rotate in different postures, causing the reflected sunlight to flicker at different frequencies. People have been thinking for a long time about how to describe these little things in space. Finally, one journalist's metaphor gained traction: this is a handful of crystal dominoes scattered by the giant of the universe. 048. What a spectacular scene it was. The audience was unable to describe it in words. Is this art? Or is it the purest form of technology? The audience doesn't know. But they only knew one thing. The capabilities of cryogenic artists are beyond their imagination. No matter who is involved in the technological side of the audience, they will not be able to see anything in the methods of cryogenic artists. This is beyond people's understanding. For example, Tony Stark. As a genius inventor, so he thinks, Tony Stark believes he can understand the technology of these civilizations from the videos. And he actually succeeded in doing so. Whether it is the Sophon engineering of the Trisolaran Civilization or the two-dimensional foil of the Singer Civilization, Tony Stark can understand the principles of this series of dimensional technologies through the explanations in the videos. Of course, even though he understands it, Tony Stark cannot replicate this technology. To be precise, there is no existence on Earth today, or even in the universe, that can replicate the two-dimensional foil and the Sophon engineering. But, he couldn't even figure out the most basic principles of the cryogenic artist's methods. The molecules of matter will be evacuated and converted into other substances. Strictly speaking, this technology has even surpassed dimensional technology. Because this has almost overturned people's understanding of the law of conservation of energy. The law of conservation of energy is one of the universal basic laws of nature. Energy neither appears nor disappears, it is simply transformed from one form to another or transferred from one object to another, while the total amount of energy remains unchanged. But cryogenic artists seem to ignore this concept. The ocean needs to be turned into ice through low-temperature energy, and the project of turning so much ocean into ice must be huge. So, this consumes more energy. But the cryogenic artist did not do that. He seemed to divide the entire ocean into an area out of thin air, and then neatly converted the ocean energy in this area into ice. Energy conversion. Is this really something technology can do? Tony Stark slumped on the sofa, scratching his hair impatiently with one hand. Energy, damn energy again. Tony Stark looked at the triangular light on his chest. The arc reactor is a virtual device that maintains his life and is also the energy source for maintaining the operation of various types of steel armor. Without it, he wouldn't be able to maintain the incredible amount of energy required for those Iron Man armors. Recently, there has been a bottleneck in the research and development of steel armor models. The fundamental reason lies in the conversion of energy. No matter how much innovation is done, the new mecha cannot be improved much. He could only increase his weapons as much as possible. But this is obviously not what Tony Stark wants. What he wanted was further innovation. If you can understand the material transformation of cryogenic artists. Tony Stark scratched his scalp and finally shook his head. He was thinking too much. As a human being of a low-dimensional civilization, we actually want to understand the technology of a high-dimensional civilization. Well. Tony Stark sighed helplessly and continued to focus on the video. Following the perspective of Yandong, the protagonist in the video, Tony Stark suddenly realized a problem. Cryogenic artists have literally evacuated the Earth's oceans and turned them into ice through their amazing technical abilities. But, what would happen if he completely drained the Earth's oceans? Thinking of this, Tony Stark suddenly felt a chill down his spine. He seemed to be thinking of what the three-body civilization had said when he first learned about it in the first video review. You are bugs. Do higher-dimensional civilizations care about the lives of lower-dimensional civilizations? Tony Stark realized all this. Similarly, many viewers in the universe are aware of the impact of the low-temperature artist's actions. At the same time, the omniscient and omnipotent voice sounded again in the video. The cryogenic artist showed his art to the people on Earth, which is a unique artistic sculpture in the world. He emptied the Earth's oceans and used the most sophisticated technology to completely freeze the oceans. In the universe, these blocks of ice moved along with the Earth like crystal-clear star rings. However, people on Earth soon realized the impact that the cryogenic artist's draining of Earth's oceans would have on the Earth. This is enough to cause the extinction of humans and even all living things on Earth. The omniscient and omnipotent voice sounded slowly, and the sound it brought made countless audiences in the heavens and all realms feel horrified. They seemed to discover that at this moment, what this cryogenic artist brought to them was not only the shock of technology and art. It also adds a certain kind of indifference of higher civilizations towards lower civilizations. We should have a good talk. Yandong said. I asked you to come here just to talk, but let's just talk about art, said the cryogenic artist. Yandong was standing on a large block of ice at an altitude of 5,000 meters. It was the cryogenic artist who invited him here. Now, the helicopter that brought him up was parked on the ice nearby, its rotors still spinning, ready to take off at any time. The ice surface is surrounded by endless ice fields, reflecting the dazzling sunlight. Looking down, the blue ice is deep and bottomless. At this altitude, the sky is clear and the wind is strong. This is one of 5,000 pieces of ice that the cryogenic artist collected from the ocean. Over the past 5 days, it has been extracting ice from the ocean at an average rate of 1,000 blocks per day and sending it into Earth orbit. At various locations in the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans, huge chunks of ice were frozen in the ocean and rose into the sky, becoming one of the cosmic dominoes that became increasingly brighter in the night sky. Major coastal cities around the world have been hit by tsunamis, but the disaster has gradually decreased over time. The reason is simple: sea levels are falling. The oceans around the Earth are turning into ice. But this is not good news. The Earth is changing into an unknown shape. 049. At this moment, viewers from all over the world are sending comments under the video. Many people in all the worlds are discussing the power of the cryogenic artist civilization. Turning all of Earth's oceans into ice and lifting them into space, what a horrible method. Thanos, how on earth does it do this? Is this the molecular mass conversion ability of the cryo artist? This is almost the power of God. Ice civilization. I'm more curious about how it can freeze the ocean into ice in an instant and prevent the ice from being melted by sunlight. Dr. Doom. Perhaps I can do this. The king of the undead. One thought turns into ice, one thought turns into the sea. I feel that this method is very similar to that of a saint, but it is not as easy as that of a saint. Bai Xiao, if it were a saint, not only the ocean, but even the existence of this planet would be frozen instantly. Hong Wang Daipen, if you don't understand, just ask, how powerful is the great saint? Is he half as powerful as me, and Lan? And Lan anyway, none of them are as good as my son Wang Teng. My son Wang Teng has the potential to be an emperor. It seems that among these civilizations, there are very few who can rival the great saint, and low-temperature artists are not very good either. Perhaps we should focus on the top 5. Just as the audience was discussing the power of the cryogenic artist, a barrage of comments appeared, causing all the audience in the world to stop the discussion. Have you ever thought about how these ice cubes that were emptied from the ocean on Earth can return? Zhang Holan. For a moment, the audience from all over the world fell into deep thought. Someone weakly sent a comment in the video: the cryogenic artist should return the ice. All he got was a silent response from the audience in the heavens and the worlds. At the same time, Yan Dong in the video also had exchanges with the cryogenic artist. Yan Dong stamped his feet on the hard ice and said, "How can you freeze such a large amount of ice in an instant? How can you make it intact without breaking, and what force do you use to send it into space orbit? All this is far beyond our understanding and imagination." The cryogenic artist said, "What's wrong? We often extinguish stars in our creations. Didn't we say we were only talking about art? From an artistic point of view, such art is not much different from making ice sculptures with knives and shovels." After saying this, the audience in all the heavens and worlds were shocked again. Just as they thought. Cryo artists literally have the power to extinguish the sun and stars. Yan Dong started asking again. Why doesn't ice in orbit melt when hit by strong sunlight from space? I covered the surface of each ice cube with a very thin transparent filter film. This film allows only cold light in the non-heating band to enter the ice cube, while the light in the heating band is reflected, so the ice cube remains unchanged. This is the last time I will answer your question. I stopped working, not because of talking about these boring things. We should talk about art, or you can go, and I tell you that we are no longer colleagues and friends. He said it as if he was very impatient. Well, how much ice are you going to extract from the ocean? This is about making art. Of course, take as much as you can. I told you about my idea. To express it perfectly, the oceans of the Earth are not enough. I plan to take ice from the moons of Jupiter, but it's too troublesome. So let's make do with this. Yan Dong tidied her hair, which was messed up by the wind. The coldness of the altitude made him shiver. He asked, "Is art important to you?" "That's everything. But, there are other things in life. For example, we have to work hard to survive." The cryogenic artist's voice comes from deep within the ice. The vibration of the ice made Yan Dong's feet itch. "Survival, tut-tut, this is just a diaper that needs to be changed in the infancy of civilization. In the future, it will be as easy as breathing, making us forget that there is an era in which we need to spend energy to survive." What about social life and politics? The existence of individuals is also a problem for infant civilizations. In the future, individuals will be integrated into the subject, and there will be no society or politics. And there's science, isn't there? Doesn't civilization need to understand the universe? This is also the process of infant civilization. When exploration reaches a certain level, everything will end. You will find that the universe is so simple that science is unnecessary. Only art. Art is all that remains. Art is the only reason for the existence of civilization. But we have other reasons. We want to survive. There are billions of people and many more species beneath the Earth, and you want to dry up our oceans and turn this living planet into a dead desert, leaving us all to die of thirst. A burst of laughter came from deep within the ice sheet, making Yan Dong's feet itch again. "Look, my friend, I stop to talk to you about art when I'm inspired, but every time, you talk to me about these trivial things. This really disappoints me. You should be ashamed. Go away, I have to work now. FK your ancestors." Yan Dong finally lost his patience and started cursing. "Is that a dirty word?" the cryogenic artist asked calmly. "Our species is the same individual, growing and evolving all the time, with no ancestors. Besides, how can you treat your peers like this?" "Hehe, I know, you're jealous of me, you don't have my power, you can only engage in bacterial art. But as you just said, our art is just different tools, there is no essential difference. But now I've changed my mind. I thought I met a real artist, but I turned out to be a mediocre guy who kept talking about trivial things that had nothing to do with art, like the drying up of the oceans and ecological extinction. It was too trivial. I tell you, artists can't do that. FK your ancestors. As you wish. I have to go to work. You go now. At this moment, Yan Dong felt overweight. He fell on the slippery ice. At the same time, a strong wind blew down over his head. He knew the ice was still rising. He climbed into the helicopter. The helicopter took off violently, flew away from the nearest edge of the ice, and nearly crashed into the tornado as the ice rose. Communication between humans and cryo-artists has completely failed. 050. As the negotiations between humans and cryogenic artists broke down, the audience seemed to realize something. Cryogenic artists never took the Earth, a low-level civilization, seriously. In the eyes of cryogenic artists, does the death of human beings on Earth have anything to do with him? Human survival? In the eyes of cryogenic artists, even their concepts are different. As the cryogenic artist would say, the question of the survival of billions of humans and other species? This is just the simplest concept in the eyes of a cryogenic artist, it's all trivial. And art is everything. Only art remains, and art is the only reason for the existence of civilization. These are the words of the cryogenic artist. So the cryogenic artist has to drain the Earth's oceans to complete his art. The price is to ignore the life or death of a civilization and let the entire civilization die out on its own. Countless viewers couldn't help but feel a chill in their hearts. Even a saint wouldn't be so cruel. For a moment, the audience couldn't help but compare the low-temperature artist civilization with the previous mirror civilization. Although both are artistic civilizations, their ways of dealing with lower civilizations are surprisingly completely different. The same artist, the mirror civilization is peaceful and friendly to everything. It will patiently play music for the Earth and explain to the Earth how it does it. Furthermore, it would shield the Earth from the radiation of a supernova explosion. Even though this radiation was created by itself. But this is enough to show the friendliness of the mirror civilization. This is not the case with cryo-artists. Art is everything, and art is the only reason for the existence of civilization. He is only keen on art, despises morality and even technology, speaks in a childish manner, and in order to complete his ice sculptures, he drains the seawater on the Earth and uses huge ice blocks to form an ice chain for the Earth, and for this he doesn't even care about the life and death of the Earth's civilization. No one wants to deal with such a being. In other words, bad guys are more willing to be friends with good guys. But honestly, maybe the cryo-artist is the most normal personality in the universe. Indifferent, or in other words, completely indifferent to other civilizations. Because in the eyes of higher civilizations, lower civilizations are just a bunch of bugs. However, no matter how uncomfortable the cryogenic artist's actions make people feel, what the cryogenic artist says seems to be the truth. He said the same thing that mirror civilization said. The individual will be integrated into the subject, and there will be no society or politics. This sentence is just as the mirror civilization said. When civilization develops to a certain level, both individuals and the collective will disappear at the same time. At first, the audience found it difficult to understand what mirror civilization said. And when the low-temperature artist civilization said something almost the same as the mirror civilization, the audience seemed to have a better understanding of this sentence. When civilization develops to a certain level, there will no longer be any distinction between individuals and groups. Because they will eventually merge into one and become a subject. Whether it is the mirror civilization or the cryogenic artist civilization, they all eventually become the appearance of this subject. Perhaps this is the common concept of advanced civilizations. The audiences from all over the world were all thinking about it. Not long after, the video changed again. This time, the perspective of the audience from all over the world returned to Earth. They seemed to be standing in a white world, the land beneath their feet and the surrounding mountains were covered in silver. The mountains were so tall and steep that he felt as if he were on top of a snow-covered mountain. In fact, quite the opposite, it is the lowest place on Earth. This is the Mariana Trench, once the deepest ocean floor in the Pacific Ocean. The white substance covering this area is not snow, but minerals from the salt-based seawater. When ocean water freezes, these minerals precipitate and settle on the ocean floor. The thickest parts of these white salt deposits can reach 100 meters. In the past 200 days, the Earth's oceans have been used up by cryogenic artists, and even the Antarctic glaciers have been looted by cryogenic artists. And now, the cryogenic artist invites Yan Dong to participate in the final completion ceremony of its artwork. Its great creation has come to an end. When the omniscient voice sounded, the audience also approached this icy trench from Yan Dong's perspective. There is a blue water surface in the valley ahead. The blue is very pure and deep, and it is particularly moving among the snow-white peaks. This is the last ocean on Earth. Its area is about the size of Dianchi Lake. There are no more vast and boundless waves. The surface is just a quiet ripple, like a quiet lake on the mountain. 3 rivers flow into this last ocean. This is a big river that has survived its long journey across the dry expanse of the seabed. It is the longest river in the history of the Earth. By the time it gets here, it has become a trickle. Yan Dong walked to the beach and put his hand into the gently undulating seawater on the white sand. Because the water is saturated with salt, the waves on the sea seem a little heavy. Yan Dong's hands were dried by the breeze and a layer of white salt was deposited on them. In the air, Winter heard a familiar whistling sound, caused by the impact of the air as the cryo-artist slid downward. Yan Dong soon saw it in the air. It's still shaped like a puck, but because it came straight back from space, it didn't spend as long in the atmosphere, and the ball is much smaller than when it first appeared. Before this, after the ice entered orbit, People always used various means to observe the cryogenic artists when they left the ice, but they saw nothing. Only once it enters the atmosphere does the growing ball of ice mark its presence and location. The cryogenic artist did not say hello to Yandong. The ice ball fell vertically into the water in the center of the last ocean, stirring up a high column of water. Then came the familiar scene. A circle of white mist quickly spread out from the landing point, and soon covered the entire sea surface. When seawater freezes rapidly, it makes a cracking sound. Then the white fog dissipated, revealing the frozen sea surface. Unlike in the past, this time the entire ocean was frozen, leaving not a drop of liquid water. The sea surface was not a mass of frozen waves, but was as smooth as a mirror. During the entire freezing process, the audience from all over the world seemed to feel the cold air blowing on their faces. They all couldn't help but wonder. How shocking and spectacular will the art of this curtain created by the cryogenic artist be? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you are notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.